Good morning, students. Welcome you all once again in the live virtual revisionary classes conducted by Board of Studies of ICAI. Today, we are going to cover and discuss Ind AS 105, non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operations. Good morning to all of you once again. So friends, straight away, I'm moving to my Excel file, and with the help of the Excel file, first of all, I'll cover the entire concept and then I'll jump into the some complex or detailed questions around Ind AS 105. I hope it is okay to all of you, right? So friends, the name of the standard is non-current assets held for sale. It means one thing is very clear. This standard is talking about non-current assets which are considered as a held for sale. Why inventory is not covered in this standard? Because inventory is a current asset, right? Inventory is held for sale in the ordinary course of business. But if I talk about a non-current asset, for example, machinery, building, plant, okay, so subsidiary, if I talk about these kind of non-current asset, intangible asset, investment property, so when these are classified as held for sale, when these are held for sale, then these standard will come under the category of Ind AS 105, non-current asset held for sale. And we'll also discuss the non-current asset held for sale and discontinued operations. Okay, so two aspects we'll cover here. One, non-current asset held for sale, and the second one is discontinued operations, right? So friends, in a non-current asset held for sale, if I talk about the syllabus of this standard, not the syllabus of CA final financial reporting, the syllabus of this particular standard, this standard covers three aspects. Aspect number one, this standard covers individual asset held for sale. For example, I have a factory in Lawrence Road industrial area. Okay. Saminathan came to me and Saminathan told, sir, I want to buy your factory. What is there in your factory? I told Saminathan, I have a factory building. Okay. I have a plant and machinery, furniture and fixture, office equipment, raw material, finished goods stock. I have computer, laptop, software, some licenses, and I have a loan on my machinery. Okay. Then Saminathan asked, sir, would you like to sell this entire factory as a whole, or what would you like to sell? I told Saminathan, I would like to sell only factory building. Is it an individual asset held for sale or is it a group of asset held for sale? It is a individual asset held for sale, right? So friends, individual asset held for sale is known as a non-current asset held for sale, right? So in this standard, the terminology is NCA HFS. We call it as a non-current asset held for sale. We call it as a NCA HFS. Friends, this individual asset has to be always a non-current asset. This individual asset has to be always a non-current asset, right? Then Saminathan told me, sir, why would you like to sell only factory building? Why don't you sell this entire factory as a whole, right? I would like to buy your factory along with plant and machinery, along with furniture, fixture, office equipment, computer, laptop, intangible asset, software, license, right? And your raw material, finished goods, and whatever loan is there on your plant and machinery, I will repay that loan as well. I will assume the liability also. So I got agreed with his proposal, with his offer. So when I became ready for this proposal, for this offer, this is known as a individual asset held for sale or a group of asset held for sale. This will become a group of asset held for sale, right? That individual asset held for sale was only a one asset, single asset. But when I talk about group of asset held for sale, it includes your non-current asset as well as current asset, right? And it can also includes liabilities. Okay? Like in my example, raw material was also there, finished goods was also there. So what was that? That is a current asset, right? And as far as non-current asset, we have a bulk of non-current asset. Group of non-current asset, right? Friends, in addition to that, in this case, we have a liability also. We have a loan on the machinery. We have a loan on machinery. Okay. So group of asset held for sale is a combination of non-current asset as well as current asset and may also includes liabilities. Okay. Then the third aspect. So in a non-current asset held for sale, we will be covering individual asset held for sale, which is known as a non-current asset held for sale, and group of asset held for sale, which is known as a disposal group held for sale, DGHFS. In this standard, the name of disposal group held for sale is a DGHFS, right? It's a DGHFS. Then we will be covering discontinued operation. What is meant by discontinued operations? In Delhi, in addition to Lawrence Road Industrial Area, I have a factory in Mangolpuri Industrial Area also. Both of the factories are engaged in selling a particular product. Okay, selling a particular product. So both the factories. So what happened? So then another buyer came to me. Now this time not Saminathan, this time Rahul Garg came to me. And Rahul told, I heard that you are selling your Lawrence Road Industrial Area factory. If you will sell your factory in Mangolpur Industrial Area also, I will give you a huge amount of premium. Okay. The only condition is I want you should move out from this geographical area of operation. You should move out from Delhi. I don't want that you should continue your business in Delhi, but yes, I'll give you good amount of premium. I'll give you good money. So I had a thought and I said yes. So friends, when I'm moving from a geographical area of operation, when I'm discontinuing my operation in Delhi, right, it will be known as a discontinued operations. It will be known as a discontinued operations. So friends, this discontinued operation includes discontinuation of a major product, a business segment, or a geographical area of operations. So now we have understood the diameter, radius, and the syllabus of this Ind AS 105. Friends, what is the definition of NCHFS? The definition of NCHFS is carrying amount is principally recovered through a sale transaction, not through the continuing use. When you are recognizing or capitalizing any asset, the basic condition is that it has to be having a future economic benefit. Now the question comes, how the future economic benefit of different asset will arise. For example, how you will get a future economic benefit, of machinery. Yes, you are absolutely right, Rahul. So machinery, future economic benefit of machinery will be recovered or will be received through the use of the machinery, right? When I say through the use of the machinery means through the production. When you produce, you will have a goods and services, right? So you will produce goods, okay? And when you will produce goods, you will get the money. Second example, how you will recover the future economic benefits from inventory. Is it used by sale? You will recover the future economic benefit on inventory by way of a sale of goods. By way of a sale, you will get the money, right? You will get the money. So how you will get the future economic benefit of a non-current asset held for sale? How you will get the future economic benefit of a non-current asset held for sale? Through the use or through the sale? Through the sale, right? So the objective of for any non-current asset held for sale, the objective is carrying amount has to be principally recovered through a sale transaction, not through the continuing use. Okay, right? And the carrying amount recovered does not mean if the carrying amount is 100 rupees in the balance sheet, does it mean that it has to be 100 rupees? The receipt has to be 100 rupees? Answer is no. Whatever future economic benefit has to be received, whatever money has to be received, that has to be received by way of a sale of an asset. Whatever money, it could be less than 100, it could be equal to 100, it could be 100 also. It could be more than 100 also, right? So the amount recovered may be equal to, lower than, or higher than the carrying value. Now, when a non-current asset will be classified as held for sale? Now, important. Sir, we understood that, so this standard is applicable to a non-current asset which is classified as a held for sale. And when a non-current asset is classified as held for sale, the four pillar of accounting standard, what are the four pillar of accounting standard, Lavanya? What are the four pillar of accounting standard?
So recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure.
Very good. Absolutely. Fantastic. Very good. RMPD, recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. Right. Very good. So when a non-current asset is classified as held for sale, the recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure, right? This is applicable in accordance with Ind AS 105, right? Now, let's come to the recognition part. Sir, when a non-current asset will be classified as held for sale? For example, sir, there is a company, ABC Limited, and this company wants to sell a building. Sir, this company wants to sell a building. Can this company classify this building as a held for sale? Lavanya, what is your view? My question is, you just
Yes,
need to
sir.
answer yes or
As
no.
it is a non-current asset, it can classify.
No, my question is,
Yes.
Lavanya, a company wants to sell a building. I have just given you this information. They want, वो चाहते हैं, right? Can we classify that asset as a held for sale immediately? It can be, provided some condition needs to be satisfied, right? What are the condition needs to be satisfied? So there are two conditions which needs to be satisfied. Condition number one, ISPC. Condition number two, HP. Condition number one, ISPC. Condition number two, HP. What is ISPC and what is HP? What is ISPC and what is HP? Right. ये ISPC क्या है and HP क्या है? So let me talk about ISPC and HP, right? So the asset or disposal group, must be available for immediate sale in present condition. Immediate sale in present condition, right? ISPC. ISPC means, what is meant by ISPC? ISPC means available for immediate sale in present condition, right? That asset means individual asset. Or disposal group. What is meant by disposal group? Disposal group means group of asset. That asset or disposal group must be available for immediate sale in present condition, and the sale must be highly probable. The sale must be HP. HP means highly probable, right? The sale must be highly probable. By the way, the humorous, or on a lighter note, the full form of ISPC is Internet Service Provider Company, and HP is Hindustan Petroleum. Is that? So from the context of this standard, ISPC means immediate sale in present condition. ISPC means immediate sale in present condition, right? And sale is highly probable. HP means highly probable. Right? If these two conditions will be satisfied, then only you can say that yes, we can classify this non-current asset as a non-current asset held for sale, right? As a non-current asset held for sale. Tell me, why this standard has given these conditions? Tell me why. It is important. Why it is important? Let me tell you. It is important because of two reasons. Reason number one, let's take an example of a building. What is the nature of building in the balance sheet? Lavanya, what is the nature of the building in the balance sheet?
Non-current assets.
Non-current asset, PP, right? Property, plant, and equipment. Non-current asset. But when this building will be classified as a held for sale, what will be the classification of this building? Current asset.
Current assets.
It will be moved to current asset. When it will be moved to current asset, the ratios will be impacted, right? Current ratio and the other ratios, okay? Number one. Number two, your entire classification will have a dramatic change, okay? And number two, when it will be classified as a non-current asset held for sale, the measurement requirement will change. Like if it is a PPNE, property, plant and equipment, you are following Ind AS 16 for the purpose of recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. Okay, you are computing depreciation, you are also looking for impairment, but when an asset will be classified as held for sale, no depreciation will be charged. Okay, it has to be transferred to the current asset category and it has to be measured at fair value less cost to sell. So the point is, number one, the classification will completely change. It will move from non-current to current. Number two, the measurement will completely change, right? The measurement principles. That is why it is important to have a very stringent checks. It is important to have a very stringent checks, right? Very stringent checks. Very stringent checks in terms of, Ind AS 105 criteria and classification. Okay. So asset or disposal group must be available for immediate sale in present condition and sale must be highly probable. Okay. It cannot be classified as held for sale if the entity intends to sell it in a distant future. Distant future means the future is not certain, the entity is not certain. Let's understand with the help of two quick examples. Example number one. I have a building. Okay. This building has 3 floors and construction on 4th floor is going on, right? And I put the for sale board, right? I want to sell my building and I have put this board for sale. I want to sell my 3rd floor and I put the board of for sale on my 3rd floor. Lavanya came to me and she asked, sir, I have heard that you want to sell your 3rd floor and you also put the board also put the board. So I told Lavanya, yes, I want to sell my 3rd floor, but I will sell only when my 4th floor construction will get over. Now, two questions here. Question number one, whether my 3rd floor, whether this floor, this building, I mean to say floor, right? Whether the 3rd floor is available for sale. Question number two, whether 3rd floor is available for immediate sale in present condition. What is your answer, Saminathan?
Sir, both no, sir.
Again, I'm repeating my question. My question is whether the 3rd floor is available for sale. Question number two, whether 3rd floor is available for immediate sale in present condition.
Sir, the question number one is yes. Question number two is no.
Shachi, what's your answer?
So question one is yes, it is for sale, but second is it's not for the immediate sale.
Yes, both of you are absolutely right. I want to sell my 3rd floor. Yes, it is available for sale, but it is not available for immediate sale in present condition. जिस कंडीशन में है उसी कंडीशन में तुरंत सेल के लिए अवेलेबल नहीं है. सेल के लिए तो अवेलेबल है, but not immediately available in the present condition. So question number one is yes, question number two is no, right? Means it is available for sale, but in the distant future, when the construction will get over. We don't know when the construction will get over, right? So it is available for sale, but not available for immediate sale in present condition. So if it is not available for immediate sale in present condition, can we classify it as a non-current asset held for sale? Of course, no, because it is not meeting. It is not meeting the recognition criteria. It is not meeting the ISPC criteria. What is ISPC criteria? Available for immediate sale in present condition. It is not meeting the ISPC criteria, right? So for meeting the criteria of immediate, available for immediate sale in present condition, the entity should have intention and ability. The entity should have intention and ability to transfer the asset or disposal group in the present condition, right? intention and ability. Now, let's understood the meaning of intention and ability. Let's say Mr. Ram has purchased a plot of land, okay, in a society, in a gated community, okay. So Mr. Ram wants to sell his plot of land. So basically, Mr. Ram purchased that plot of land to construct the house. Now, what happened? So it was a vacant land, and on the both side of the land, there was a house which was there. The families were living there, and they were using this plot of land for the purpose of parking their car and throwing the garbage. Okay. So when Mr. Ram purchased this plot of land and Mr. Ram wants to construct a house there, so both the neighbors has a problem. Why? Why they have a problem? Because they were parking their car in that plot, they were throwing their garbage, they were also getting a ventilation also, right? Their kids were also playing in that land, in that plot. So what they did, they filed a litigation, they filed a suit, they filed a litigation on that plot, okay. And court has put a stay on that plot, right? Stay for the construction. Now Mr. Ram is frustrated and annoyed. Now Mr. Ram said, I want to sell this plot at any cost. I want to sell this plot even at a loss. I want to sell this plot at any cost in the same condition. If a buyer will come, I want to sell this plot. Friends, tell me whether Mr. Ram has an intention to sell this plot. Yes.
Yes, sir.
But whether Mr. Ram has the ability to sell this plot?
No, sir.
Why no?
Because of the court case.
Because of the court case. Till the time the court will not clear this, Mr. Ram does not have an ability. Mr. Ram has an intention, but he does not have an ability. And intention and ability, it is not intention or ability, it is intention and ability. Both has to be there. Intention and ability, both has to be there, right? So in this case, in this example, can we classify that plot of land? Having said that, Mr. Ram wants to sell at any cost. So can we classify this as a NCHFS?
No, sir.
Why no? Because it is not meeting the ISPC criteria, available for immediate sale in present condition. Why it is not meeting the ISPC criteria? Because of lack of
Ability.
Because of the lack of ability, right? It is not meeting the ISPC criteria. Okay. Right? It is not meeting the ability criteria. Okay. So number one was ISPC. What is number two? Sale is highly probable. So this ISPC only talks about intention and ability. Right? Now, this HP, sale is highly probable. This provides you the execution. What is meant by execution? It gives you the effort, whether you as an entity has put in the effort to classify this asset as a held for sale. When I am talking about the effort, means sale is highly probable when few conditions will be satisfied. For classifying a non-current asset as a non-current asset held for sale, the two conditions are there. Condition number one, it should be available for immediate sale in present condition. Condition number two, the sale should be highly probable. So we understood the first condition, that should be available for immediate sale in present condition. Now, what is meant by sale is highly probable? Sale is highly probable requires few conditions to be satisfied. And what are these few conditions? Condition number one, the management should be committed to a plan to sell the asset. What does it mean? Simple. This asset has to be approved. The sale of the asset has to be approved by the board of directors. In a company, what happened? In any company, if you want to sell any non-current asset, any property, plant and equipment, investment property, right? Any undertaking, any division, any department, any segment, it requires a board approval. So number one, whether management is committed to sell the asset. And my dear friends, don't work on ratification, right? Don't mug this. Understand this. Because in your examination, instead of writing management is committed to a plan to sell the asset, might be they will write the board has not approved the sale of the asset, or they might be they write the board has approved the sale of asset. Board has approved means management is committed, and board has not approved means management is not committed, right? So management is committed means board has approved the sale of the asset. Okay. Number two. What is number two? Number two, active program to locate a buyer has been started. Means the entity has started searching a buyer. For example, if an entity wants to sell a factory, number one, the sale of factory has to be approved by the board of directors. Number two, the active program to search a buyer has been started. Okay, means this entity has started searching a buyer. They have put the advertisement on their website. They have put the advertisement on the local newspaper, right? They have also engaged the brokers, the agents, real estate agents, means they started searching a buyer, right? So number two, active program to locate a buyer has been started. Number three, what is number three? You started searching buyer, but you need a price also, na? Right? So the asset has to be marketed at a reasonable price in relation to a fair value. Now, Sachi, tell me one thing. A company wants to sell a factory and the market value of the factory is 20 crores, but the company has set a price of 50 crores. Will that company be able to sell this factory?
No, sir.
Because the
Because
price is comparatively very high in relation to the market value or fair value, right? The price is very high. So if you actually and genuinely, if you don't want to play with the numbers, but genuinely you want to sell the factory, what you will do? You will also keep a price which is in comparison to market value, na? So in that case, first of all, what you will do? You will do a due diligence. You will get a valuation report that what should be the valuation of my property by getting a market intelligence. And now market is telling you that the property price is in line with almost 20 crores. So you can keep a price in comparison to 20 crores. For example, you kept a price of, let's say, 20 to 23 crores, right? So that if negotiation will happen, you will end up negotiating and close the deal at 20-21 crore. But for a 20 crore, you are asking 50 crore. Definitely, you also know that nobody is going to buy this factory. It means your intention is not to sell the factory, but you want to classify this factory as a non-current asset held for sale because of playing with the numbers. That is why, my dear friends, that is why the standard has given this criteria. When the sale will become highly probable. Highly probable means there are high chances that the sale will happen. They said, first of all, get it approved by the board. Number two, they said, you should start searching a buyer. Number three, they said, the price has to be reasonable in terms of market value. The price has to be reasonable. Number four, by putting all these efforts, it is expected that this transaction will be completed as a complete sale within 1 year from the date of classification as held for sale. My question to all of you, whether this held for sale classification is on the reporting date or it could be any date during the year. What it could be? Saminathan told any date. Lavanya, what's your answer? Rahul also said any date during the year, the date on which it is meeting the criteria of held for sale. Yes, Lavanya, what's your answer?
Yes, sir. Same, sir. Mine also.
Any date?
Any day.
Sachi, what's your answer?
Yes, sir.
Any date or reporting date?
any date, sir.
Any
On
date.
which report? Yeah.
Any date, basically the date on which it is meeting the criteria of
Criteria.
held for sale classification. And what is the criteria of held for sale classification? Two criteria, ISPC and HP. ISPC and HP, right? For ISPC, you need to see the intent and ability. For HP, you need to see the what I told you. This four condition I have already covered. Fifth, I am going to cover, right? So the sale should be expected to qualify for recognition as a complete sale within 1 year from the date of classification as held for sale. From the date of classification, not reporting date, from the date of classification as held for sale, right? Subject to event outside entity's control. What it could be? What it could be subject to event outside entity control. What does it mean? Friends, subject to event outside entity's control means if the delay is there within 1 year from the date of classification, the entity was not able to sell this property, sell this factory. Why? Because of the delays, which is not because of the company, because of the outside factors. For example, natural calamities, God's event, right? COVID, the classic example. In all our life, we haven't seen such a scary situation, right? Whatever we seen during the COVID time. Okay. So a company prior to COVID, right, in let's say December 2019 or November 2019, a company has classified an asset as a held for sale. Okay. Why? Because it was meeting the criteria of ISPC and HP. And the discussion about the sale was going on at an advanced stage. But in India, in February 20, the COVID came. In March 20, the lockdown started. And then there was a COVID wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, Delta wave was also there, right? So due to these aspects, the company was not able to sell the factory. It was delayed. In this case, even it was delayed beyond 1 year, it will still be continue to be classified as a held for sale. Why? Because COVID was not in the control of the entity. It is not entity arises event. It is not entity arises event. Okay. Yes. Next. What is next? The next one is due to buyer request, right? For example, this entity wants to sell the factory. Now buyer told that you are using this factory since, so the buyer has already signed a contract. Okay. There is a firm purchase commitment. There is a binding contract, binding agreement, which is signed by the buyer. It means whether entity has started searching buyer,
Yes, sir.
searching buyer,
Yes, sir.
not
That
started
means
searching buyer. Buyer has already identified, buyer has signed a contract, right? So buyer has already signed a contract. The entity got the buyer. Now buyer signed a contract, buyer told. Contract means firm purchase contract, firm purchase commitment. Now buyer told ki, you are using this factory since last 30 years. Can you do a favor? The seller asked, yes, please tell me. The buyer told, can you please get this factory clean up? Can you please get this factory clean up? The seller told, if I'll get this clean up, it will take around 18 months, around 1.5 years. The buyer told, I don't have any problem, please do that. The seller agreed. So now this actual sale will happen after 18 months. So whether it will be continue to classify as a held for sale, answer is yes. The only thing is if it is on the buyer request, the firm purchase commitment has been signed. What is meant by firm purchase commitment? Binding agreement. If buyer will deny, buyer has to pay a huge penalty, and whatever advance the buyer has given, it will be forfeited. So in these two cases, in the cases of natural calamity like COVID example I have taken, and the second one is on the buyer request, provided the buyer has already signed a non-cancelable contract, right? In these two cases, even it is going beyond 1 year, right? In that case, it will still continue to be classified as a held for sale. So always remember one thing in your examination. If examiner wants to trap you, you know what he will do? The examiner will say that the the property was classified as a held for sale on 15th January 2026, but due to buyer request, this property, the actual sale date was decided, the actual sale will happen after 2 years, right? Then you need to understand that what other facts and circumstances are given in the question, right? And if question is silent, then you should write in the assumption that we are assuming here the firm purchase commitment has already been signed with the buyer. We are assuming here. You need to write that we are assuming that the firm purchase commitment has already been signed. And if the question itself says that the company is in the process of signing an agreement with the buyer, but the buyer said that you have to get this factory cleanup and the cleanup will take 2 years. Friends, in this case, will you classify this as a held for sale? If these two lines are given in this question, these two lines, whatever I have told you, in a big question of Ind AS 105, Ind AS 105 is very simple. The only thing is you have to command and control over the concept. My dear friends, if these lines are given in your question, tell me, will you classify that asset as a held for sale and will you apply the principle of Ind AS 105, Sachi?
Yes.
Sachi, I told you that, in your question, it is written that the company is in the process of signing an agreement with the buyer. And the buyer requested to clean up this factory, which will take 2 years. And after the cleanup, only the sale has to happen. So,
So
Sachi,
assumption, so we will have to assume now, as you discussed earlier.
no. So there are two aspects. The first aspect I told you that the question is silent. The question only says that the entity has classified this asset as a held for sale on 15 January 2026. So on the buyer request, the entity wants to clean up the factory and it will take around 2 years. That was question number 1. And I told you guys that what you have to do, you have to write this assumption in your answer that we are assuming here that, the firm purchase commitment has already been signed. We are assuming here that the firm purchase commitment has already been signed. We are assuming. Question number 2, the second situation I told you. It is written in the question that the company is in the process of signing an agreement with the buyer. What does it mean? It means the agreement has not yet been signed. So in this
Then
case,
it will
you
not
can't
be
assume.
classified.
Sorry?
Yes, sure. Sorry, then not be classified as
And not be classified as held for sale. Yes. So that is what I told you, right? If question is silent, you can take an assumption. And always take an assumption that it is held for sale. Why? If it is a 5 marks, 7 marks, 8 marks question, the question wants to test your knowledge on Ind AS 105. So once you said that yes, it is a held for sale, then the question will test the knowledge on measurement criteria. Okay, so don't take the adverse assumption that we are assuming that the firm purchase commitment has not been signed if question is silent, right? Okay, is that clear? Lavanya, is that clear?
yes.
Last condition number 5. While it is a revisionary class, but these are very important concept. And let me tell you, I am teaching at the same pace in which I am teaching at a full class, right? So that even if you listen the revisionary class, your complete concepts will be covered. Okay. Point number 5, condition number 5, the actions required to complete the plan indicate that it is unlikely that the plan will change. As I told you, that this held for sale classification does not mean the actual sale on the date of classification. It gives you a window of how much of period? It gives you a window of 1 year. It gives you a window of 1 year. Now, the point is, at the time when you are classifying as held for sale, it has to be such a concrete kind of a plan that will indicate that it is unlikely that the plan will change. It is unlikely that the plan will change. Okay, it will indicate that it is unlikely that the plan will change. Okay. So now question is, for example, an entity wants to sell the factory and the auditor said, I understand you wants to sell the factory and you have classified this factory as a held for sale, but tell me whether your actions, whether your action indicate that going forward, moving further, you will not change your plan of sale. The CFO said to the auditor, sir, you can see we have already started vacating the building, vacating the factory, right? Our labor has already moved to the new factory. Okay. So our actions, you can just look at our action. It is completely indicating that we don't want to again, start our production in this factory. Rather, we have already moved to the new factory. Okay. So the action also required to complete the plan indicate that it is unlikely that the plan will significantly change or withdrawn. So now, if the question wants to trap you, the question will say that the company has an intent and ability to sell this asset. So it means ISPC criteria is meeting. The question also says that the board has approved the sale of that non-current asset. The company has started searching a buyer, right? And it is actively, and the company has also kept a price which is reasonable in respect to the market value. And they are searching a buyer, or the company will write that they are in the process of signing an agreement with the buyer. It means buyer has been identified. Okay. And they said that the company is in the process of searching a buyer or signing an agreement with the buyer, and if the demand will increase, the company may cancel the plan of sale, right? The company may cancel the plan of sale in future. In this case, Sachi, will you classify this as a held for sale? Answer is
No.
you will not classify this as a held for sale.
Yes.
Why? Because it is likely that plan may also change, because the question is saying, right? So the last condition is the actions required to complete the plan indicate that it is unlikely that the sale plan will change. It is unlikely that the sale plan will change. Is that clear? I hope it is clear to everyone. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let me discuss a question from the Word file. I hope my Word file is visible to everyone. Is it visible or not visible? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now? Yes. Question number 3. On 21st March 2001, XYZ Limited announced the board's intention to sell its shares in a subsidiary company, right? So means the board has approved, or the board's intention to sell the shares in a subsidiary company, means to sell a subsidiary, has been announced, which is contingent upon the approval of Alpha's shareholders, right? It seems unlikely that approval will be granted in the near future, and no specific potential buyer has been identified. Friends, tell me, in this situation, is it a disposal group held for sale or not? In the question number 1, is it a disposal group held for sale or not? Please tell me. Saminathan, what's your answer? So Lavanya, please carry on.
Not held for sale, sir.
Why?
Because the approval is also contingent, and even they did not identify the buyer also.
So first of all, let's stick to ISPC. Tell me what is missing here.
It They don't have ability to sell. Sir.
Ability, very good. So for sale, what is required? Approval is required. Whose approval?
Yes.
Shareholders approval. Shareholder has not yet approved, means the ability
They
is
don't
missing.
have
If
ability.
they want to sell it immediately, will they be able to sell immediately? No,
No, sir, without
because the
approval of
ability,
shareholder.
because the approval is not there. So if ability is missing, what is missing? ISPC is missing. If ISPC is missing, you cannot classify this as a held for sale, right?
Yes, sir.
So we'll go to HP later on. Potential buyer has the and not the and no specific potential buyer has been identified. Doesn't matter. That's the question. The standard gives you a window of 1 year. If today the potential buyer has not been identified, it could be identified tomorrow, right? So
Yes, sir.
the biggest problem is here, ability is missing, approval is missing, right? Yes. If this question would say that the board has approved the sale of the shares, the board has approved the sale of subsidiary, and the company wants to take a approval of shareholder also, which is just a formality. If this would have been given in the question, what would be your answer?
Then in that case, first condition is satisfied, sir. But second condition, highly probable. We will look into that 5 conditions. In that, potential buyer has not been identified yet, so we will not classify it as held for sale.
No, in this case, Lavanya, so the first part you have beautifully answered, that ISPC is meeting because having a shareholder approval is just a formality, right? But number two, when you look at the 5 condition, the condition does not tell you that the potential buyer has to be identified. The condition says that active program to search a buyer has been started, right? So in this question, let's say if the first part is clear, you should write in the answer. Right now, the potential buyer has not been identified, but assuming the company has a window to classify this as the company has a window to complete the sale within 1 year from the date of classification. If the company has put on all the effort or putting all the efforts to search a buyer, in that case, we will consider this as a sale is highly probable and can classify as a held for sale, right? So the condition, Lavanya, is not potential buyer has to be identified. What is the condition here? Please read this condition. Lavanya, please read this
Yes,
condition.
yes, yes. Active program to locate
To
buyer
locate
in.
a buyer. What is to locate? Not to finalize a buyer, locate a buyer, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So this is how you have to answer. But let me tell you, if you don't know the concept, if you don't have a command and control over the concept, this is the mistake which people, just which they do in their examination hall, right? So the concept has to be very clear. Whatever you answer, it has to be backed by the logics. Okay, is that clear?
Yes,
I
sir.
hope it is
Clear,
clear
sir.
to everyone. Yes. Now, second point. PQR has entered into a contract to sell the entire delivery fleet of vehicles. Means fleet of vehicles means there are more than one vehicle. There are multiple vehicles. Entire delivery fleet of vehicles operated from its warehouse to competitor ABC on 14th March 2001. PQR has entered into a contract to sell. Entered into a contract to sell the fleet of the vehicle. Okay, operated from its warehouse to whom they want to sell, to whom they have entered into a contract to sell ABC on 14th March. The asset will be transferred on 28th April. Means after how many days? After 1 year, after 1 month, 14 days. From which date? The asset will be transferred on 28th April 2001, from which date the group will outsource its delivery activities to another company, LMN, right? From which date the group means PQR group, will outsource its delivery activity to another company, LMN, right? So what it is writing here, they are saying that they have entered into a contract to sell on 14th of March. They have transferred the asset on 28th of April. And since they have transferred their delivery vehicles, so now they have to outsource this activity to somebody else because now they don't have the vehicle, right? From 28th of April. So they have transferred the delivery activity from 28th of April. What does it mean? It means from 14th of March to 28th of April, they were using the vehicle, right? यही है ना? नहीं तो 14th मार्च को ही आउटसोर्स कर देते अपनी एक्टिविटी. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now my question is whether in this question number 2, whether this question number 2 will be classified as a disposal group held for sale or not. On the reporting date, tell me. Let's say the reporting date has come 31st March. So whether it will be shown as a held for sale or it has to be shown as a non-current asset. Sachi, what's your answer? Doesn't matter right or wrong, but what's your answer?
Held for sale, sir.
From which date?
From 14th March.
Samanathan is also saying the same thing. Rahul is also saying the same thing. So people who are on the offline portal, they are also saying the same thing. Yes. See, if you have already, since they have already entered into a contract, means they want to sell. That is why they have entered into a contract, right? So ISPC and HP is meeting. And this also indicates that just within 1 month and 14 days, the asset has already been transferred, which is less than 1 year, right? So if a company is using the asset for a temporary period of time till the time actual sale or transfer is happening, you will not say that it is not available for sale. It is available for sale. For example, I have entered into a contract to sell my building to Sachi. Okay, we have already entered into a contract. She has paid me advance money also, right? And she told me that in the next month I will get the registry done in the next month because I need to take a home loan also. So till the time the actual sale is not happening, I mean to say the registration, this building is not transferred in the name of Sachi. I'm using this building. If I'm using this building just till the time this sale is actually happening, so I'll not say that this building is available for use. This building is not available for use. This building is already available for sale, right? So this asset has to be classified as held for sale from 14th March 2001. Okay. Next. On 16th January 2001, DEF management and shareholder approved a plan to sell its retail business in Mumbai. Means management is committed. Board has approved, shareholder has approved. Its retail business in Mumbai. And a consultant is hired to manage the sale. Means board has approved, active program to locate a buyer has been started, consultant is appointed. On 31st March 2001, agreement had been signed, although due diligence and the negotiation of final terms are still in progress. Agreement has been signed while the due diligence is going on. Negotiation of final terms are still in progress. The transaction is expected to be complete in the next month only, April. Tell me, will you classify this transaction as a held for sale on 16 January? Lavanya, what's your view?
Sir, it will be classified, sir.
Whether ISPC is meeting? Yes, probably yes. That is why even this agreement is signed and sale is happening. Whether on 16 January 2001, whether the HP is meeting, highly probable is meeting.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Because
HP
they
also.
have signed the agreement And it is highly probable that the sale will also be completed in the month
No,
of April.
Lavanya, agreement has been signed on 31st March. And they are saying that, the final terms are still in progress. So whether this building will be classified as held for sale, this business will be classified as held for sale on 16th January. Yes, it will
Yes,
be
sir.
classified. Why? ISPC is meeting, the board has approved, the consultant has been hired, and the subsequent event also indicate that the sale is also happening. Agreement has been signed. The final terms are still in process. That will happen. The standard give you a window of 1 year to complete the sale. The standard does not tell you the day you decide, I want to sell, the day the buyer should be standing on your door. No. The standard is only saying, first of all, check. Do you have an intention and ability? Answer is yes. Okay, very good. You have ISPC. Go to HP. For looking at HP, first of all, look at whether your board or shareholder, whomsoever wants to approve, they have approved. You said yes. Okay. Whether you started searching buyer, the standard does not tell you you have to have a buyer and the final agreement and the final negotiation should take place. The standard is asking you, have you started searching buyer? That is why the standard has given you a window of 1 year. Right? अगर स्टैंडर्ड ये बात करता कि आपने बायर ढूंढ लिया है तो स्टैंडर्ड 1 year की विंडो की बात ही नहीं करता. Correct? So in this question also, in this question number 3 also, yes, this asset will be classified as held for sale. Okay, right? Is that clear? Yes. Is that clear? Okay. So now let's move to the presentation again, and we'll look at a question, a measurement criteria, basically, not a question, a measurement criteria. Abandoned asset, just leave that. Now let's look at a measurement criteria, right? We need to understand what is a measurement criteria. And before getting into a measurement criteria, let me move to my Excel file and then I'll come to a question. Okay. I hope my Excel file is visible to all of you. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we discussed ISPC and HP. We discussed 5 conditions. We discussed exception to 1 year rule. The exception to 1 year rule says that delay must be due to the circumstances outside the entity's control, which is firm purchase commitment, binding agreement must be signed in case delay is from the buyer side. Okay. But if it is a natural calamities, then delay is not from the buyer side. Then no firm purchase commitment is required to be signed. Yes. Measurement provision, friends. As I told you, once an asset is classified as held for sale, now on the date of initial recognition of NCA-HFS or DG-HFS, NCA-HFS means individual asset held for sale, DG-HFS means disposal group held for sale. So in these two situations, DG-HFS, NCA-HFS, on the date of classification, what you have to do, you have to, first of all, you need to compute the carrying amount. You need to compute the carrying amount of non-current asset or disposal group as per the respective standard. Means, for example, the building was purchased on 1st April 2020, right? 1st April 2020 at a value of 50 lakh rupees. And the life of the building is 50 years, right? How much is the depreciation on this building?
One lakh.
1 lakh. And this building was purchased on 1st April 2020. On 1st July 2025, on 1st July 2025, the building is classified as held for sale because it is meeting the criteria of classification as held for sale. Okay. Now my question is how to measure this building on 1st July 2025. So standard says that first of all, on 1st July 2025, you need to compute the carrying amount of this building as per the respective standard. Before classification as a held for sale, what was the respective standard applicable to this building? What is the respective
Ind AS
standard?
16.
Ind AS 16 property, plant and equipment, right? Ind AS 16 PPN. So what is the carrying amount? You need to compute the carrying amount as per Ind AS 16 on 1st July 2025. Saminathan, what is the carrying amount? What is your cost? 50 lakh. What is your accumulated depreciation for 5 year and 3 months? Saminathan.
5,25,000.
5,25,000, right? For 3 months. So you need to compute up to 30th June, right?
Yes, sir.
So if per annum depreciation is 1 lakh, what is the depreciation for a quarter? 25,000. So 50 lakh minus 5.25 lakh. What is the amount? 44 lakh 75,000. So your carrying amount as per Ind AS 16 is 44 lakh 75,000. Step number 1. Step number 2. Compute the fair value less cost to sell. Compute the fair value less cost to sell on that building. Sir, how will we compute fair value less cost to sell? The question will provide you the fair value. The question will provide you the cost to sell also. So when you deduct cost to sell from the fair value, it will give you fair value less cost to sell. For example, the question says that the company has got the valuation from the valuer who indicated the value as a 42 lakhs rupees, right? 42 lakh rupees. And the company estimated if the company wishes to sell this asset, the company has to pay a brokerage and commission. The company has to pay a legal fees. So the company is estimating a cost to sell of 2 lakh rupees. What is my fair value less cost to sell?
40 lakhs.
1st July, 40 lakh. 42 minus 2, 40 lakh. So step number 1, compute the carrying amount as per the respective standard. Means in this case, Ind AS 16 on date of classification is held for sale. 44 lakh 75,000. Compute the fair value less cost to sell, which is 40 lakh. Then whichever is lower will become your value of non-current asset held for sale or a disposal group held for sale. What is lower between these two?
40 lakh.
40 lakh mathematics. So what accounting entry you will pass? You will pass an accounting entry. You will debit non-current asset held for sale, 40 lakh. What you will credit? You will credit building PPNE, credit 44 lakh 75,000. 44 lakh 75,000. Where the difference of 4 lakh 75,000 will be debited, Sachi? Where the difference of 4 lakh 75,000 will be debited?
Yes, sir. It will be debited into the.
You have debited non-current asset held for sale 40 lakh, credited PPE 44.75 lakh. So where this loss of 4 lakh 75,000 will go?
P&L.
It will go to P&L as an impairment loss. Impairment
Impairment.
loss on reclassification as HFS. Right? Impairment loss on HFS reclassification, it will go to P&L. Right? It will go to P&L. I hope it is clear to all of you. Is that clear or not clear? Yes, it will go to P&L.
Clear.
Okay. Yes, it will go to P&L. Now, my dear friends, so this is the measurement criteria. This is how we measure. Right? So when I say the carrying amount has to be computed as per Ind AS 16, property, plant and equipment. What is the formula of carrying amount as per Ind AS 16? Tell me, what is the formula of carrying amount?
Carrying value minus accumulated
Cost
depreciation minus accumulated impairment loss.
Yes. So the formula of carrying amount under Ind AS 16, Ind AS 40, Ind AS 38 means PP, investment property, intangible asset. In all these standard, the carrying amount in the balance sheet of PP, investment property and intangible asset has to be computed using cost minus accumulated depreciation minus accumulated impairment losses, right? Okay. So let me give you a question, quickly discuss this question, and then we'll move to the question from the word file. Yes. A Limited, example number 3. A Limited purchased a building on 1st April 19 for rupees 20 lakhs. Useful life of the building is 10 years. What is the depreciation per annum? Can you help me quickly?
2 lakhs per annum.
2 lakh rupees per annum.
2 lakhs.
Assuming no residual value, 2 lakh rupees per annum. There is an impairment loss on the building as on 31st March 2020 for rupees 1 lakh. So first of all, what is my cost? 20 lakh. What is my depreciation up to 31st March 20? What is my depreciation for the first year?
2 lakh.
2 lakh. So 20 is the cost. My accumulated depreciation is 2 lakh. So 20 minus 2, 18. Now this question is saying there is an impairment loss on this building as on 31st March 2020 for rupees 1 lakh. So there is an impairment loss also. There is an impairment loss of rupees 1 lakh also. What we should do with this impairment loss?
We have to reduce this from the asset carrying value.
Reduce,
The 18 lakhs.
yes, yes. Okay. The building has been classified as HFS on 1st July 2020. Means up to 30th June 2020. What is the nature of this building? PP.
PP.
On 1st July 2020, what it will become? NCHFS, right? So up to 30th June, the world of this building was Ind AS 16. But from 1st July 2020, the world become Ind AS 105. Okay. So the building has been classified as HFS on 1st July 20. You are required to show the necessary entries for this effect. The fair value less cost to sell on 1st July 2020 is 18 lakhs. The fair value less cost to sell is also given. Right? So these are the facts which we have discussed. Now, what are the accounting entry? Purchase of building on 1st April 19. What is the entry? Building PP account debit to bank 20 lakhs. When you need to charge a depreciation to accumulated depreciation 2 lakh. Depreciation to accumulated depreciation 2 lakhs. Okay, right? Third, when you charge an impairment loss, impairment loss P&L account debit to building, right? 1 lakh. Okay, because your PP also says na, on the reporting date you have to check the impairment also. Why it says that? Because the impairment concept is the impairment standard Ind AS 36 ensure that your carrying amount in the balance sheet should not be more than the recoverable amount. Okay, so carrying amount of PP is 17 lakh. Any doubt, any challenge up to this level? Lavanya, Sachi, Saminathan?
No, sir. Clear.
Clear.
Clear?
No, sir.
Clear? So on 31st March 20, we computed this this value of the building as per Ind AS 16. Then the time has come for the held for sale classification. But up to 30th June, this building is PPNE. So what I do? I will also compute depreciation for 3 months. What is the depreciation for 3 months? The closing balance is 17 lakh. How much is the remaining year? As on 31st March 2020, how much is the remaining life?
9 years.
9 years.
9 years.
9 years. So what is my per annum depreciation prospectively? 17 divided by 9. And for 3 months, 17 divided by 9 multiplied by 3 divided by 12.
47,222.
Yes, it is 0.47 lakh, right? It is 47,000 or 0.47 lakh. So what is my carrying? What is my step number 1? What is my step number 1? Compute the carrying amount as per the respective standard. As per the respective standard, my carrying amount is 16.53 lakhs. Now, the standard has given me held for sale, fair value less cost to sell also. What was the fair value less cost to sell? The fair value less cost to sell on 1st July 20 is 18 lakhs. Okay. So my fair value less cost to sell is 18 lakhs. Whatever, which is lower? Carrying amount is lower or fair value less cost to sell is lower? What is lower?
Carrying value.
Carrying value is lower. So in this case, no impairment. So NCHFS building account debit to building PP account. But let's say if the fair value less cost to sell would have been 16 lakh, then what will happen?
Then 16 lakh will be considered.
Then 16 lakh will be considered. Where 53,000 will go?
It's impairment loss on reclass.
Impairment loss on classification as held for sale. Right? So this is what it is there. This is what it is there. Okay. I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Clear or clear?
Yes.
No, sir. Clear, clear.
Clear. Now let me give you one more aspect. Okay. Let's say in your examination, the question will ask you. The question will tell you that the entity has classified this asset as held for sale on 15th January 2026. Okay. So for example, let me give this question. Okay. So yes, example. A company has classified a machinery as HFS on 1st February 2026. The carrying amount is 10 lakhs. The fair value is rupees 9 lakhs. The entity expect the sale on 31st January 2027, right? Because the buyer has, while the buyer has identified and the buyer kept a date of 31st January 2027. The entity expects the estimated cost to sell at 1 lakh rupee. At 1 lakh. Compute the value of NCA HFS. Tell me what is the value of NCA HFS? Answer. What is my carrying amount? What is my carrying amount?
It's 10 lakh.
Right? Rupees in lakhs. What is my fair value?
9 lakh.
What is my fair value? 9 lakhs. What is my cost to sell?
1 lakh.
Standard says that, this is what I want to tell you. The standard says that
Present value of that
discount rate 10%. The standard says that if you expect your sale to happen after 1 year, or let's say at the end of the first year, you have to factor the time value of money. This fair value is today's value, right? Today on the date of classification is held for sale, you are estimating the fair value today is 10 lakh rupee. But tell me, when you will incur cost to sell?
after 1 year. Near
You
1
will
year.
incur cost to sell at the time of sale. Right, Rahul? You will incur cost to sell at the time of sale. And when is the time of sale, Sachi? When is the time of sale? The time of sale is 31st January 27, which is after 1 year. So what you should do? What you should do? You should discount your cost to sell. You should discount your cost to sell. So present value of cost to sell. What is my present value of cost to sell? Present value of cost to sell is how much? Present value of cost to sell is is equal to 1 divided by 1.1. So my present value of cost to sell will become 0.91 lakhs, which is 91,000, right? So it is my 91,000. Okay, it is 91,000. And what is your fair value less cost to sell? Your fair value less cost to sell is 8.09. Now what is lower? What is lower? Your
8.09.
NCA-HFS is equal to what? NCA-HFS is lower 8.09. NCA-HFS is which value? NCA-HFS is lower value, lower of carrying amount and fair value less cost to sell. This is your value of NCA-HFS. Yes. What is the accounting entry? NCA-HFS account debit. HFS account debit. How much? 8.09 to machine PPE account credit. How much?
10 lakh.
Right. Now what will be debited? Impairment loss. Impairment loss on HFS classification.
Okay, betu.
Debit.
Okay, jaldi de do.
Okay. 10 minus 8.09. Whether this accounting entry is clear to all of you? Is it clear or clear? Yes. Whether this concept is clear to you?
Clear,
Whether
sir.
this revision, concept understanding, everything is clear or not clear?
Sir,
Yeah.
I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, if the sale is to happen after 1 year, then we will not classify it as an non-current asset held for sale, also, except in the two conditions.
If it is beyond 1 year, so on 31st January it is happening. 1st February you classify, so it is within 1 year, na? Right? So it should not be beyond 1 year. जैसे आपका वो इंडेक्स 116 क्या कहता है शॉर्ट टर्म लीज के लिए 12 मंथ और लेस. So वैसे ही NCHFS क्या कहता है 1 year or less, right?
Yes,
For
sir.
them.
Yes,
Sorry.
sir.
Yeah. So that is why you need to do this. Okay. And if it is beyond 1 year, for example, due to buyer reason or natural calamity, and you expect that it will happen after 2 years, in that case, you have to do the discounting of 2 years, provided it has to be beyond the entity's control. Okay. Right. I hope this is absolutely clear to all of you. Yes. Can we go to
Yes.
the Word file and can we discuss some questions, important questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me go to the Word file. Okay. Yes, so before that, okay, let's come to the Word file and then we'll discuss the further concept. A freehold. I hope this Word file is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, a freehold property was originally acquired for 40 lakh. What is the cost? 40 lakh. Some years later, after cumulative depreciation of 11 lakh has been recognized, an impairment loss of 350 is also recognized, taking the carrying amount of 25 lakh 50,000, which represent the estimated value in use of the property. So what it has written that the cost was 40 lakh, accumulated depreciation was 11 lakh, and accumulated impairment loss was 3 lakh 50,000. And why this impairment has been charged? Because recoverable amount was lower. That is why it was charged. And what is a recoverable amount? It is a higher of value in use and fair value less cost to sell. Okay. Shortly thereafter, as a consequence of a proposed move to a new premises, the freehold property is classified as held for sale. The freehold property is classified as held for sale. Okay. Shortly thereafter, as a consequence of a proposed move to new premises, the freehold property is classified as held for sale. So they have moved to a new premises and they have classified it as a held for sale. At the time of classification is held for sale, carrying amount is given and fair value is given. Carrying amount 25,50,000. How it has been arrived? It has been arrived at 40 minus 11 minus 3.5. And fair value less cost to sell is also given at 25 lakh. Okay. So what is the accounting entry on the date of classification is held for sale? Can you tell me quickly?
Sir, NCA HFS 25 lakhs.
Yes.
Impairment loss on reclassification 50,000 to PPE 25 lakh 50,000.
So NCHFS debit by 25 lakh
25 lakhs.
to PP credit by
25 lakh
25.5 lakhs.
50,000.
And then there your impairment loss, right? Impairment
Yes,
loss debit 0.5 lakhs.
50,000.
This is the accounting entry, right? This is the accounting entry you have to pass. Very good. So now this was on the date of classification is held for sale. At the next reporting date, on the next reporting date, right? Means it is talking about reporting date. And the window is 1 year. So normally what happens, if the window is 1 year and you have classified, during the period, during the year, so there should not, there is no compulsion that this property has to be sold before reporting date. And let's say this NCA HFS is standing on the reporting date also. Now tell me, on the initial recognition and measurement, we understood lower of carrying amount and fair value less cost to sale. But once it is classified as held for sale, at what value it is going to be remeasured on the reporting date? Yes, Rahul, it has to be, you are absolutely right. It has to be remeasured at fair value less cost to sale. So once an asset has been classified as held for sale, and assuming due to the buyer reason, this property will be transferred after 3 years. So this property will come on the balance sheet for 3 years. So now my question is, on the reporting date, at what value this property is going to be remeasured? Because once an asset will be classified as held for sale, depreciation is not required to be charged. Once an asset will be classified as held for sale, depreciation will be stopped. So my question is, at what value it is going to be remeasured on every reporting date? It has to be at fair value less cost to sale. So on every reporting date, you have to measure fair value less cost to sale. Now tell me, what could be 3 situations for fair value less cost to sale? क्या होगा जब fair value less cost to sale निकालोगे? तो क्या होगा? What will happen? The fair value less cost to sale could be higher than the value of NCHFS. It could be lower than the initial value of NCHFS, or it could be equal to the value of NCHFS. यही 3 चीजें हो सकती है ना साची? Only these 3 things can happen. When you subsequently measure or remeasure, only these 3
Yes,
situations
sir.
can happen, na?
Yes, sir.
Either value will increase, value will decrease, or value will equal, right? Or value will equal. Okay. So now, first of all, if value is equal to the initial value, what will happen? Nothing, no change, no entry. For example, my NCHFS was recognized at 25 lakh. And on the reporting date, my fair value less cost to sell is 25 lakh also. So no change, nothing. But let's say my initial value of NCHF is 25 lakh, but my fair value less cost to sell on the reporting date has gone down to 23 lakh. Then what will happen?
Again, impairment of loss of 2 lakhs.
Impairment loss of 2 lakhs. Impairment loss of 2 lakh. You have to recognize impairment loss of 2 lakhs, right? So let's say from 25 lakh in this question only, it has increased to 26 lakh. Then, so initial value was 25 lakh, but the fair value less cost to sell on the reporting date has increased to 26 lakh. 1 lakh has been increased. So Sachi,
Sir,
will you recognize Saminathan? Just hold on for a few minutes, a few seconds. Sachi, in this case, will you recognize the increase of 1 lakh? if the fair value less cost to sell has been increased to 26 lakh? Will you do that? Lavanya, what's your answer?
Yes, sir, we will increase it to 26 lakhs.
No. Saminathan, now it's your turn.
Sir, we can increase only we have to restrict to the already we have impairment loss of 50,000. To the extent we can increase.
Yes, you are absolutely right. So, Lavanya, in case of subsequent increase, you can only take the increase to the extent of previous impairment losses. To the extent of previous impairment losses.
Sir, previously the impairment loss we have up to 3 lakh 50, no, sir.
So, what is the previous impairment losses, Saminathan? Previous
Yes,
cumulative
sir. Yes, sir.
impairment losses.
Yes, sir. We have 3,50,000 plus 50,000 is 4 lakhs we have. We can go up to 1 lakh we can, it is allowed.
So Lavanya, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. What the standard says that you need to recognize the increase to the extent of previous cumulative impairment losses. In this case, the first impairment loss was 3,50,000. In the second case, the second impairment loss was 50,000. So the total impairment loss was 4 lakh, right? Total impairment loss was 4 lakh. Okay. So you can recognize the increase to the extent of 4 lakhs. Now, what is now the question says that at the next reporting date, the property market has improved and fair value less cost to sell is reassessed at 26.5 lakh. So in this case, from 25 lakh, it become 26.5 lakh. So how much is increase, Lavanya?
1 lakh 50, sir.
So 1 lakh 50. Will we recognize 1 lakh 50? Yes. So
Yes,
we'll
sir.
recognize up to 4 lakh. So it is 150.
Yes.
We'll recognize that. Right. Now it is saying that 6 months after that, the property market has continued to improve and fair value less cost to sell is assessed at 30 lakh now. So Lavanya, from 26.5 lakh. So this is a listed company. They are doing a quarterly reporting. So when they are doing a reporting after 6 months on 30th September, so what happened? From 26.5, the value has gone up to 30 lakh. Now, what should we do?
We will recognize up to the remaining balance, sir,
Yes.
of impairment loss.
Yes. So 26.5 to 30, it is how much? 3.5 lakh.
3.5.
Okay. What was the total previous cumulative impairment loss? 4 lakh.
4
3.5
lakhs.
plus 5. Out of 4 lakh, how much we have exhausted?
1.5.
How much is remaining? 2.5. While the
2.5.
increase is 3.5, but we will only take the increase to the extent of unadjusted impairment losses, 2.5. So what is my revised carrying value of NCA HFS?
29 lakhs.
26.5 plus 2.5, 29 lakhs. 29 lakhs. Okay. So this is the answer, 29 lakhs, right? Yes. So 29 lakhs. Is that clear? It is 29 lakh. But after, let's say, the actual sale happened in 30 lakh. So it is remeasured at 29 lakh. But when the actual sale happened, it happened at 30 lakh. Then what will happen? Then actual sale, bank account debit 30 to NCHFS.
Gain.
have
It will be just a normal
gain.
gain, na capital gain ho
A
jayega.
gain.
Yes, it is a normal gain. So bank account debit 30, credit NCHFS 29, then credit gain on sale 1 lakh, right? So this is the answer. I hope with the help of the concepts, examples, you guys have understood ISPC, HP, exception to 1 year rule, right? How we'll measure the carrying amount as per respective standard, fair value less cost to sell, discounting of cost to sell, right? You understood the initial measurement, you understood the subsequent measurement at fair value less cost to sell. When fair value less cost to sell is equal to the initial value, no change. When fair value less cost to sell is decreasing, you have to recognize the decrease, impairment loss. When fair value less cost to sell has increased, you need to record the increase only to the extent of previously recorded unadjusted impairment losses, right? So this is how you do the accounting and measurement. I hope you guys have understood it very well, right? And we have also covered question number 3 and question number 6 of this word file. We have covered these two questions. Friends, it's 8:31 now. Let's have a break for 13-14 minutes. So we'll start at 8:45. It's 8:32 now. Okay, we'll start at 8:45. Break start. Yes. I hope my presentation is visible. Is it visible, Saminathan? Yes. Yeah. So now, so we discussed the, how to recognize a non-current asset held for sale, how to, remeasure your non-current asset held for sale on the reporting date. Now, what we are discussing here, the disposal group, and the recognition criteria is same for disposal group also. It has to be available for immediate sale in present condition, and sale must be highly probable. The only thing is, for a disposal group is a combination of non-current asset and current asset. It could be a current asset also in the disposal group, and it could have a liabilities also. Okay. So the point is, my dear friends, for a disposal group to be covered under Ind AS 105, the only condition is at least one asset should be a non-current asset. That's all, right? So let's discuss this question from the measurement perspective of a disposal group. The following details are given for entity A. Goodwill is $16 million. Just think about 16 million. Okay. Property, plant and equipment is 28, inventory 20, financial assets 17, and financial liabilities 14. The net value of this cash generating unit is 67. Under Ind AS, PP would be stated at 26 million. Okay. What was my step one, my dear friends? What was my step number one? My step one was you need to remeasure your asset. You need to remeasure your asset, right? So this PPNE is 26 here. Okay. This inventory is 18 here. Okay. So it was the carrying amount as per the respective standard, but what is your values which are given? 26 for PPNE, 18 for inventory. So you need to compute the carrying amount as per the respective standard, and as per the respective standard, these values are 26 and 18. For others, the values are not given. So assuming for others it is same, 17 and 14. What is my value of this? What is my carrying amount of this cash generating unit or a disposal group? 63, right? And this reduction of 2 million is more like a impairment loss as per the respective standard. It is more like an impairment loss as per the respective standard. Okay. Now, what is my fair value less cost to sell? It is given that the fair value less cost to sell is $47 million. 47 is my fair value less cost to sell. What is my step number two? My step two is fair value less cost to sell. 47. How much is my impairment loss on this disposal group? What is my impairment loss?
20 lakhs. 20.
63 minus 47, 16 lakh, right? So on HFS classification. So Saminathan, this 67 minus 63, 4 is on account of computing carrying amount as per the respective standard. Have you got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is impairment loss.
Just remember what we did. Step number one at the time of non-current asset held for sale measurement, my step number one was I need to compute my carrying amount on the date of classification as held for sale. So on the date of classification as held for sale, my carrying amount as per the respective standard is 63. Okay. Then I computed fair value less cost to sell, which is 43. Then I compare. So 47 is lower. So I need to record $16 million as an impairment loss. Now the question comes, how should I allocate this 16 million on these assets? While if you guys have already covered Ind AS 105, you should know this. If you have not covered Ind AS 105, but you have covered Ind AS 36 impairment of assets, you must know it, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how should I allocate this $16 million in these group of assets and liabilities? My question number one is, do I need to allocate this $16 million impairment loss to liability also? Answer is no. Liability cannot be.
No, sir.
No. So now we have assets, goodwill, PP, inventory, financial asset. Now my second question, should I allocate this $16 million to all these four assets?
Again, no, sir. The inventory and financial asset, it will taken care by respective standard.
You are
So,
absolutely right. Just hold on, Swaminathan. You are absolutely right. What Swaminathan is saying, sir, in a cash generating unit or in a group of assets, when we allocate the impairment loss, we will not allocate the impairment loss which is already at fair value, where the impairment is already taken care by the individual standard. For example, inventory. What is the measurement criteria of inventory? Cost or NRV, whichever is lower. Whichever is lower means your inventory is already at a market value. Your inventory is already standing at NRV, net realizable value, right? Why? Because cost or NRV, whichever is lower. So you should not charge further impairment on inventory because it is already at market value, already at fair value. Financial assets. As per Ind AS 109, financial asset has to be remeasured at fair value. So if something which is already at fair value, will you allocate further impairment? Answer is no. Now, which two assets remain in this group of asset? Goodwill and PPE, right? So we need to allocate $16 million in goodwill and PPE. And while doing an allocation, Ind AS 36 impairment standard says that while doing an allocation of impairment loss on the cash generating unit, first you need to allocate the impairment loss to goodwill. If still remaining impairment loss is there, then you need to charge that impairment loss to other assets which are eligible for impairment. So in this case, what is the value of goodwill? In this case, the
16.
impairment loss is 16. The goodwill is also 16. So entire impairment loss will be charged to goodwill. But what happened if this impairment loss would have been 18? Then
16 will go to goodwill, and remaining it will go to property and plant and equipment.
EP. Yes. So friends, this is how we will do the accounting of disposal group. The concept is same. The only thing is in NCHFS there was only one asset, but in disposal group there is a multiple asset. And what you need to do, you need to allocate the impairment loss. While allocating the impairment loss, you just need to remember the concept of allocation of impairment loss to cash generating unit. Right? And what is that concept? That concept says that in a cash generating unit, the impairment has to happen only for the asset, not for the liabilities. Number two, the assets which are already at fair value, you will not charge further impairment loss. Number three, the assets which are eligible for impairment, you will allocate the impairment loss. While allocating the impairment loss, first you need to hit the goodwill, then you need to take care of the additional, then you need to take care of the additional. So whatever additional is there, then it will go to the eligible assets. Okay. Now friends, we'll discuss question number 1. We'll discuss question number 1 of the word file, a detailed question, but very simple question. If you go by the concept, very simple question, but otherwise very detailed question. Okay. Question number 1. I hope this question number 1 is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Following is the extract of the consolidated financial statement of A Limited for the year ended on 31st March 20x1. These figures are in thousands. Goodwill, attributed goodwill. Attributed goodwill means goodwill. Okay? Don't go by the name. It is goodwill. Intangible asset goodwill is there. Intangible assets are there. Financial assets measured at fair value through other comprehensive income. Some financial assets are there. PP&E is also there. Deferred tax asset is there. Current asset is there. Current liabilities and non-current liability. The total of balance sheet is 2250. The total of this is 2250. The carrying amount total is okay. And this was on 31st March, and it is talking about 15th September. Entity A decided to sell the business. It is noted that the business meet the definition of disposal group classified as held for sale on that date in accordance with Ind AS 105. On 15th September 2001, the held for sale classification criteria is meeting, and it is meeting the definition of disposal group held for sale. However, it does not meet the condition to be classified as discontinued operation in accordance with that standard. While it is not a discontinued operations, but it is a disposal group held for sale. The disposal group is stated at the following amounts immediately prior to reclassification is held for sale. So now the carrying amount is given on 15th September. So the value on 31st March is given, the value on the 15th September is given. For example, the goodwill value was 200, now it is also 200. Intangible asset was 950, now it is reduced to 930. Financial asset has been increased to 360. Your PP&E was 1100, and in 5.5 months it has gone down to 1020, right? Your deferred tax asset is the same value. Your current assets is from 600, it is 520. Okay, and your current liabilities is from 850 increased to 870. Non-current liability decreased to 250. These are the values given on the date of classification is held for sale. These are the values given as a step number 1. Okay, now entity A proposed to sell the disposal group at 19 lakh. It estimate the cost to sell will be 70,000. So what is my fair value less cost to sell?
18,30,000.
18,30,000 is my cost to sell. Step number 1, what is my carrying amount? Step number 1, my carrying amount is 21,60,000. Step number 2, what is my fair value less cost to sell? Fair value less cost to sell is 19 minus 0.7, 18.3 lakh, right, Saminathan? So 18.3 lakh is my fair value less cost to sell. 21.6 lakh is my carrying amount. So friends, this question, we have already completed more than one page of this question. But have you found any difficulty in this question so far?
No, sir.
No, yes. But let me give you the feedback of students, right? Normal general students. When the question is lengthier and longer, they find it difficult to solve, right? It is just a mental block, right? If I talk about this question, very simple question up to this level, I don't know further, but up to this level, very simple question. So this question has given you the date of classification. This question has told you it is a disposal group. This question has given you the values on 31st March and value on the date of classification is held for sale. So you need to apply the concept now. 21.6 minus 18.3. So there is an impairment loss of how much? 3.3, 3,30,000, right?
Yeah,
you need to allocate this 3.3 lakh into what? Into your assets, right? Liability पे तो करना नहीं है, assets, और कौन कौन से asset पे करना है? Goodwill पे करना है, intangible asset, PP&E, deferred tax asset करना है नहीं करना deferred tax asset पे allocation?
No, sir.
No. Deferred tax asset is already at fair value as per its respective standard. Right? Why? Because standard says that deferred tax asset has to be remeasured on the every reporting date to the extent it is probable of reversal. Right? Your current assets, inventory, receivable, and cash balances, they are already at fair value. Current liability, no. This is no. So only 3 assets you need to allocate. You just need to know the allocation concept. That's all, right? Now let's discuss further. Now, so 15th September 2001 story is over. Now we reach to 31st March 2002. Means this question is asking the initial measurement of disposal group and the subsequent measurement of the disposal group on the reporting date. So we also know that now on the so we also know the subsequent measurement now. If fair value will increase, we have to recognize the increase only to the extent of previous
impairment loss, cumulative impairment loss.
If there is no change, of course, no entry. If the fair value less cost to sell will decrease, we need to recognize further decrease. On 31st March 2002, there has been no change to the plan to sell the disposal group, and entity A still expects to sell it within 1 year of initial classification. Right? As at 31st March 2002, there has been no change to the plan to sell the disposal group, and the entity A is still expect to sell it within 1 year of initial classification. Very good. Mr. X, an accountant of entity A, remeasured the following assets and liabilities in accordance with respective standard on 31st March 2002. Financial asset remeasured, deferred tax asset, current assets, current liability, non-current liabilities. Then they have written the disposal group has not been trading well and its fair value less cost to sell has fallen to 16,50,000. Right? It has been fallen to 16,50,000. Compute the value of all assets within the disposal group on the following dates in accordance with Ind AS 105 on 15th September and on 31st March. First of all, let's do the working for 15th of September, right? And purposely, I have covered this question on the Excel file so that you will be able to understand it very well. I hope my Excel file is visible to all of you. Is it visible or not visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay. Compute the value on 15th September 2001. We discussed that only these three assets are subject to the impairment, right? The carrying amount is given in the question. I have just pasted the carrying value. Okay, 22,50,000. Then step number 1. What is my step number 1? Compute carrying amount on the date of classification as held for sale, right? And on the date of classification as held for sale, these values are given. These values are given 21,60,000. Okay. Now these values are also given. Now, what is my fair value less cost to sell, which is given? My fair value less cost to sell is given at 18,30,000. What is my impairment loss? My impairment loss is 3,30,000. Okay. So first of all, tell me, in this case, what is my carrying amount? My carrying amount is 200. Goodwill. My goodwill carrying amount is 200 and 330 is my impairment loss. First of all, what should I do? I should
200 lakhs, 1,000 entirely goes to goodwill.
Entirely goes to goodwill. I will impair the goodwill completely. If my total impairment loss is more than the value of the goodwill, I will charge my impairment loss completely on goodwill. Right? My goodwill will become 0. Now I am left with how much of impairment loss I'm left with? How much impairment loss I left with?
130.
130 I left with the impairment loss. In which value I should, on which asset I should allocate my impairment loss?
Intangible asset and property and plant and equipment.
In what ratio? In the ratio of the carrying amount of these.
Carrying value 930 and
130 into 930 divide by what? This
930 plus 1020.
1020, right? In the carrying amount 62. What about PP? The same. 130 multiply by 1020 divide by 930 plus 1020, 68. So this is my total. This is my 330 is what? 330. This is 330. 330 is my impairment loss. So what is the value of the disposal group held for sale on 15th September? Goodwill has become 0, right? Then your intangible asset has been gone down to 868. Your financial asset, of course, no change, 360. Your PP has been gone down to 952, so on and so forth, other assets and liabilities. So this is the breakup of 1830. Lavanya, have you understood it or have you found any challenge in understanding? Please let me know.
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Is it clear? Very much clear?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Now, disposal group classified as held for sale has to be measured at lower of carrying value on the date of HFS, step number 1, and fair value less cost to sell, step number 2. What is my accounting entry? Disposal group held for sale account debit, 1830. और 1830 का breakup क्या है? What is the breakup of 1830? 1830 breakup is, it is given here. We have computed it, right? So held for sale debit 1830, impairment loss debit 330, disposal group credit 2160. Now the time has come for subsequent measurement. Friends, I have the values on initial measurement of disposal group. Now I have the values on 31st March 2002 also. I have the values like attributed goodwill, intangible assets, right? So financial assets 410. These values are given to me. Okay. So if you see here, the values are given on 31st March 2, right? Financial asset, deferred tax asset, current liabilities, non-current liabilities, and the total fair value less cost to sell of of disposal group is also given 1650. Is that clear? Disposal group की वैल्यू भी दी है टोटल, और वैल्यू किसकी दी है? वैल्यू इन 4 एसेट्स एंड लाइबिलिटीज की भी दी है, 5 एसेट्स एंड लाइबिलिटीज की. What is the value of these assets and liabilities? What is the value? What is the value of these assets and liabilities? First of all, what is the initial measurement of your DGHFS? Initial measurement 1830. What is the subsequent measurement? Fair value less cost to sell 1650. What is my decrease? What is my decrease? What is my decrease? 180. 180 is my decrease. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So out of 180 decrease, for the value of assets and liabilities which is given to me, I need to compute that what is my change as per the respective standard. For example, my financial asset has been gone up by 50. My deferred tax asset has been reduced. My current asset has been reduced. My liability has been increased. So total value out of 180, my 120 is on account of these assets. Yes or no? वो जो 180 है, 180 तो पूरे डिस्पोजल ग्रुप का डिक्रीज है ना लवन्या?
Yes, sir.
और उसमें से out of 180, 120 belongs to these assets and liability for which values are given. Yes, it means, what does
Yes,
it
sir.
mean? The subsequent 60 decrease, where I need to allocate the subsequent 60 decrease, Saminathan? On my intangible asset and PPE, goodwill तो खत्म हो गई.
Yes, sir. Intangible and PPE and the carrying value.
On the ratio of their carrying value. So minus 60 multiply by what? Minus 60 multiply by 868 divide by 868 plus 952. Whatever is the carrying value, which is initial measurement as per NCHFS, right? So now my value on 31st March 2002 will be how much? For example, this intangible asset 839, so on and so forth. This is the total breakup of 1650. This is the total breakup of 1650. Right? So have you understood this question? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very well.
It covers the Ind AS 36 as well.
Yes. So this standard covers so first of all disposal group. Second, it covers initial measurement of disposal group, subsequent measurement of disposal group. It covers the concept of allocation of impairment loss on cash generating unit by Ind AS 36 also. Right? Clear? Great. Now, friends, change into the plan of sale. Let's quickly, if the question would have been a complex question, probably the question would have been asked from this segment as well. What is meant by change to a plan of sale? For example, let's take an example, and I always used to take this example. There were 2 factories in Uttar Pradesh for sanitizer, for manufacturing of sanitizers. In August 2019, this company decided to sell one of the factory which was producing sanitizer. And you all understand, before COVID, the consumption of sanitizer was limited to hospitals only. Have you seen any sanitizers usage in your offices, cars, public places, malls, shops, showrooms, schools, colleges? Have you seen the use of sanitizer before COVID? No, nobody was using it, right? But yes, doctors and nurses were using it in the hospitals. So the use was limited. And friends, that is why the demand was limited, and hence this company decided to sell this factory, one of the factory. In December 19, the COVID started in China. In February 20, the COVID came in India. In March 20, the lockdown started. In March 20, lockdown started. Okay. Now what happened? When the lockdown started? The consumption of the sanitizer has grown like anything. Every company started manufacturing sanitizer, be it Dabur, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, Nestle. Every company decided to manufacture sanitizer. Even people were learning from YouTube in the house how to manufacture sanitizer, right? The consumption was so huge. So friend, this entity which has classified one of the factory as a held for sale in August 2019, in March 2020 they decided to buy one more factory, and they decided to drop the plan of sale this factory. Logical also na, they are thinking of buying one more factory, तो अपनी factory क्यों बेचेंगे, right? So friends, when up to August 2019, friends, up to August 2019, this factory was covered under PP, Ind AS 16. When this company dropped the plan of sale, what happened in March? What happened in March 20? What happened? So basically, first of all, it was up to August 19, it was Ind AS 16. What happened in August 19? What happened in August 19? It was classified as, in August 2019, it was classified as held for sale. It moved to Ind AS 105. But in March 20, when this entity dropped the plan, then what happened? It will again reclassify to PP, Ind AS 16. Means it will again go back to Ind AS 16. So first it goes to Ind AS 105. Now again it goes to Ind AS 16. Yes. Now friends, the standard says that when the held for sale criteria are no longer met, the assets should be removed from held for sale category. The assets should be removed from current asset classification to where it will go? In March 20, tell me what is the disclosure? What is the presentation in the balance sheet in March 20? क्या balance sheet में presentation होगा March 20 में?
It will goes to Ind AS 16.
Non-current. It will be non-current asset, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. In August 19 to March 20, it was shown as a current asset, but now it will move to non-current asset. Okay. Now the question is, when up to August 19, the accounting was happening as per Ind AS 16, computation of depreciation, impairment loss, etc., cost model, revaluation model. On August 19, when it was reclassified to NCA HFS, then carrying amount was computed as per Ind AS 16, fair value less cost to sell was computed, and whatever is lower, that become the value of NCA HFS. I hope it is right. Yes. Then again it moved to March 20. Again it goes to Ind AS 16, right? So when it was reclassifying from PP to 105, the computation was, the measurement was lower of carrying amount and fair value less cost to sell. When it was again reclassifying from 105 to Ind AS 16, then the measurement is given in the standard as, it will again reclassify and remeasure at lower of what? Two values. Value number one, carrying amount. What is the carrying amount? Had this asset never been classified as held for sale, अगर ये सिचुएशन आई नहीं होती तो क्या होता? It will continue to be measured as per Ind AS 16, right? Had this asset never been classified as held for sale, what would have been the carrying amount? As per Ind AS 16? Is that clear to all of you? अगर ये एसेट कभी हेल्ड फॉर सेल क्लासिफाई हुआ ही नहीं होता, तो आज की डेट में जिस दिन हम इसको Ind AS 16 रिक्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं, उस दिन पे Ind AS 16 के हिसाब से क्या वैल्यू होती? मतलब डेप्रिसिएशन कंटिन्यू होता, इंपेयरमेंट टेस्टिंग होती, तो क्या वैल्यू होती? राइट? इज दैट क्लियर? नॉट द एग्जिस्टिंग कैरिंग अमाउंट. एग्जिस्टिंग कैरिंग अमाउंट तो एनसीएचएफएस की वैल्यू है. आई एम सेइंग what would have been the carrying amount had this asset never been classified as held for sale. Is that right, Lavanya, Rahul, Saminathan, Sachi? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you understood it now? Means
Yes.
you need to compute. It is not given, you need to compute. Second, recoverable amount. Carrying amount, then recoverable amount. Sir, what is a recoverable amount? So friends, when you sit in the financial reporting paper, Till that time, you will cover all the Indian accounting standard. And this recoverable amount concept is given in which standard?
Ind AS 36.
Ind AS 36, impairment of assets. And what this concept says? This concept says that recoverable amount is what? Recoverable amount is higher. Higher of what? Higher of fair
Value
value
in
less
use
cost to sell and value in
In
use.
use.
And value in use, right? So H per Ind AS 36. Sir, how do we compute this, my dear students? In your examination question, probably fair value less cost to sell would have been given, or fair value would have been given, cost to sell would have been given. Can you compute fair value less cost to sell?
Minus it.
Minus करके निकल जाएगा ना. And what is value in use? It is present value of future cash flows. So in your examination question, let's say if cash flow would have been given and the discount rate would have been given, can you compute present value of future cash flows?
Yes, sir.
Yes, because now you become master of present value calculation. This present value calculation is in Ind AS 115, revenue from contract with the customer. This present value calculation is completely inbuilt in Ind AS 116. Ind AS 116 तो बिना present value के चल ही नहीं सकता. चल सकता है?
Yes, sir. There is also 109 also is there.
So Ind AS 116 में तो first concept is present value. Why? Right of use asset. What is right of use asset? Present value of future lease payments. Right?
Yes, sir.
So when you become a chartered accountant, you become master of the present value calculation. Okay. So if cash flow is given, discount rate is given, you can compute present value of future cash flows. In the examination, if cash flows are given, but the question missed about giving you a discount rate, then what discount rate you will assume? Please tell me.
Incremental borrowing rate.
No, this question is to you, Sachi. Let's say in the examination, if the question inadvertently misses the discount rate नहीं दिया question में, आप क्या assume करोगे?
Sir, 10%.
10%, yes. Please assume 10% and please write down in the answer. So don't do that कि आप उसको present value ना करो. Okay. So many students in such a situation, assume that my discount rate is, let's say, 0%. I mean to say the time value of money is immaterial. Don't do that. Assume, please write in the answer that it seems like that the discount rate has been missed inadvertently in this question. We are assuming a discount rate of 10%, right? And then do the fair value calculation, present value calculation. So now coming back to this thing, when there is a change in plan of sale, you need to reclassify and remeasure your PP&E, I mean to say a non-current asset, at computed carrying amount and recoverable amount, whichever is lower. What is your computed carrying amount? Computed carrying amount is an amount which would have been there had this asset never been classified as held for sale, right? Now let's discuss a question from this presentation itself, right? Important question, relevant question. And this question covers the entire life cycle from PP&E to NCHFS, NCHFS to PP&E. A property is purchased for rupees 5 lakh. Sorry. A property is purchased for rupees 5 lakh on 1st January 2019. Cost is 5 lakh. Date of purchase is 1st January 2019. So property, plant and equipment account debit to bank 5 lakh. Useful life of the property is 20 years, zero residual value, measured at depreciated historical cost. What is the per annum depreciation?
25,000.
25,000. On 31st December 2020, 31st December means after what period?
2 years.
After 2 years. 1st January 19, calendar year hai. Pura 19, pura 20. After 2 years, it is decided that property is to be classified as held for sale. Classification criteria are met. So it was PPNE. From PPNE, it becomes NCA HFS. Okay. Yes, up to this level, it was NCA HFS. So an impairment assessment on 31st December 2020 determines the recoverable value based on value in use to be 4 lakh. Fair value less cost to sell is 390. Tell me. So 5 lakh was the cost on 31st December 20. What is my carrying amount as per Ind AS 16? What is my step 1? Step 1 is compute the carrying amount as per Ind AS 16, respective standard. Tell me what is the carrying amount as on 31st December 20 as per Ind AS 16.
4
The fair
lakhs.
value less cost to sell is given. Step number 2 is given.
4 lakhs, sir. 50,000 impairment loss and 50,000
Yes.
depreciation.
Yes. Your cost was 5 lakh. Your accumulated depreciation is 50,000. And 50,000 is your impairment loss. See, the formula of carrying amount is not cost less accumulated depreciation. The formula of carrying amount is cost less accumulated depreciation less accumulated impairment losses as per Ind AS 16. So what is my step number 1? My step number 1 is compute the carrying amount as per Ind AS 16, which is 4 lakh. What is my step number 2? Step number 2 is fair value less cost to sell, which is 390. So again, there is an impairment of 10,000. Again, I will pass an accounting entry. Non-current asset held for sale account debit. Non-current asset held for sale account debit 390. Impairment loss debit 10,000. Credit PPNE 4 lakh. And what is that entry of depreciation? Depreciation to accumulated depreciation 50,000. Impairment loss P&L account debit to PPNE. Right? Now, on 31st December 2021, after 1 year from this date, there is a change in plan and property no longer meet the criteria to be classified as held for sale. Now the situation has come again. From NCHFS, it will again become PPNE. What happened on 31st December 21? It again become PPNE. On 31st December 21, the plan has been changed. There is no change in the useful life of the property at any point in time. There is no change in the useful life of the property at any point in time. The recoverable value as on 31st December 21 is 3,85,000. So recoverable value is given. What we need to compute here? You
Sir,
remember?
we have to compute the carrying value as if the asset is not originally do the depreciation. It's
So
not held for.
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So now you are moving from 105 to 16, NCHFS to PPNE. Now you need to compute your carrying amount. Had this asset never been classified as held for sale, agar ye wala paragraph nahi hota, if this asset was never been classified as held for sale, what would have been the carrying amount as on 31st December 21? And recoverable amount is already given. So whatever is lower will become your value of PPNE. Sachi, now question is to you. How will we compute the carrying amount in this case? What is the value on 31st December 21? Yes, please tell me. The cost was 5 lakh. Anyone?
Sir, cost is 5 lakhs. At 31st March 2021, December, it's a 3-year loss. So 3 years, per year depreciation 5 lakh divided by 20 is 25,000. For 3 years is 75,000. 5 lakh minus 75,000 is 4 lakh 25,000 is carrying value on 31st December 2021. No, we have that the impairment loss also we need to consider it.
Saminathan, just tell me, and others also tell me, on 31st December 2020, if this asset would not have been classified as held for sale, right? Will you compute your carrying amount as per Ind AS 16? Yes or no? Answer is
Yes,
yes.
sir. Yes.
In PP standard, you always compute carrying amount. What is the formula of carrying amount? Cost minus accumulated depreciation minus accumulated impairment losses.
Correct.
What does it mean? It means this, if your question is saying, if you see this line, the value in use basis, the value in use recoverable value is 4 lakh. It means doesn't matter ये held for sale होता या नहीं होता, you need to compute the impairment loss as per PPE standard also. Why? Because recoverable amount is lower than the carrying value, right? So in this case, this valuation, this part is as per Ind AS 16 only. This part is not because of Ind AS 105, Ind AS 16 only. So the original life was 20 years. 2 years has already gone. On 31st December 20, what is the carrying amount as per Ind AS 16?
It's a 4 lakh.
4 lakh.
4 lakh.
What is the
Again,
remaining life? Sitting on
8
31st December 20, what is the remaining life?
18 years.
18 years. So Lavanya, 18 year is the life. Opening balance is 4 lakh. It means I need to depreciate 4 lakh over a period of remaining 18 years.
18 years.
What is my next year depreciation? So carrying
20.
value prior to reclassification is held for sale is 4 lakh. Okay. Now, what is my depreciation charge for 31st December 21? 4 lakh divided by 4 lakh divided by 18. It will give you 22,222. So what is my carrying amount on 31st December? Would have been 377,778. Step 1. What is my step 2? 385. So what is lower? What is lower?
377, 770.
77. What is my accounting entry? My accounting entry is PP account debit. PP account, sorry, just a minute. PP account, oh, let me write here. PPE account debit by what value? 377,778. Okay. To what? NCA HFS. What is the NCA HFS credit value?
3,90,000.
390. Where the difference of 12,222 will go?
Loss.
Not depreciation, impairment loss. Because this asset was not for use, this asset was held for sale. Impairment loss. Impairment loss debit. Okay. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So change in plan of sale we also discussed. We discussed 3-4 questions from this presentation in Excel file. We discussed 3 questions from the Word file also, right? And what we have covered, we covered the concept of non-current asset classified as held for sale, where we have covered individual non-current asset held for sale. We covered disposal group held for sale, and we also talked about discontinued operation. Just हमने बात की क्या होता है, अभी डिस्कस और करेंगे. Then we discussed the concept of held for available for immediate sale in present condition, ISPC, HP. Then we discussed the measurement criteria. Initial measurement is lower of carrying amount as per the respective standard and fair value less cost to sell. If the asset is sold after 1 year and you have considered it as a held for sale, then you need to compute the present value of cost to sell. And we discussed this also, right? Then we discussed how to measure a non-current asset held for sale. We discussed the subsequent measurement at fair value less cost to sell. We discussed the disposal group accounting. We discussed the allocation of impairment loss. Then we discussed the what? Change in plan of sale. Now we move to discontinued operation. Friends, what is a discontinued operation? Friends, in a discontinued operation means, first of all, discontinued operation is like a segment, division, business segment, right? So if that component meet the definition of operation, it will become a discontinued operation. For example, discontinuation of a geographical area of operation, like Tata. Tata decided to, so Tata, you remember when the Nano, have you heard about Tata Nano? Lakh Takiya car. Have you heard about Tata Nano?
Yes, sir.
Yes, the small car, Tata Nano. Initially, do you remember initially where they have installed their plant? Initially, If anyone is aware, West Bengal, Kolkata, not Kolkata exactly, West Bengal. So due to the politics there, they have moved out their operations from West Bengal and they moved to Gujarat. So means they moved out from a state. What is that? That is a discontinued operation. They discontinued their operations from West Bengal. It is a discontinued operation. Or Tata is into the private vehicle and passenger vehicle. You understand passenger vehicle and private vehicle? For example, Tata Nano, Nexon, Nexa. These all cars are private vehicle. What is a commercial vehicle? For example, Tata is manufacturing buses. It is a commercial vehicle. Okay. So if tomorrow Tata will discontinue the major product line, which is commercial vehicle, will it be discontinued operation or will it be disposal group?
Discontinued operation.
It will be discontinued operation because it is a major product. It is a major line of business, right? So this is the meaning of discontinued operations, my dear friends. Let's talk more about discontinued operations. When we talk about discontinued operations, if discontinued operation includes disposal group held for sale, and let's say Tatas are there. So Tata is into private vehicle and passenger vehicle. So tomorrow, let's say they decide we will discontinue our passenger vehicle business. Discontinue. So is it necessary that if they are discontinuing, they will sell their factories and plant and machinery? Is it necessary? Just let's say I am teaching, and how I am teaching, I am using this digital pen, I'm using a laptop, right? I'm using a lot of stuff. I have books. If tomorrow I will discontinue teaching, does it mean I have to sell my laptop, digital pen, books, etc., etc., etc.? Is it important? Is it necessary? Mandatory?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
समयनाथन मेरी मर्जी है ना. डिसकंटिन्यू करने का मतलब बेचना थोड़ी होता है. समयनाथन, if I have a house, I have discontinued living in that house because it is far away from my place of business, my office. So I shifted to the rented accommodation and I discontinued living in my house. So if I have discontinued living in my house, does it mean it is mandatory to sell that house?
No, sir.
No.
No.
No. So discontinue का मतलब ऑपरेशन को डिसकंटिन्यू करना, बंद करना. तो क्या बंद करने का मतलब बेचना होता है? बंद करना इंक्लूड्स बेचना, डज नॉट मीन ओनली बेचना, राइट? आई होप यू गाइस हैव अंडरस्टूड.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If discontinued operation includes disposal group held for sale, if you see the standard now, so let me show you the second slide, and in my detailed class I spent a lot of time there as well. So let me take you the objective. The objective of this index is to specify the accounting. What is meant by accounting? RMPD, recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. But only presentation and disclosure of discontinued operation. For held for sale, be it individual held for sale, individual NCHFS, and disposal group held for sale, it is talking about accounting. Accounting means recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. But for discontinued operation, what it is talking for discontinued operation?
Presentation and disclosure.
Only presentation and disclosure. So why it is only talking about the presentation and disclosure? Why not only the entire accounting? Because for discontinued operation, it is not necessary that every time there is a sale. Not necessary, right? So if there is not a sale, then you have to give some disclosures, right? So if there is a sale or there is not a sale, you have to change the presentation, you have to give some more presentation, more disclosure. right? You have to do that. That is why standard is only talking about the presentation and disclosure. So standard says that if discontinued operation includes disposal group held for sale, measurement requirement is for disposal group. We know na measurement requirement. Carrying amount, fair value less cost to sell, impairment loss allocation. But presentation and disclosure requirement is for discontinued operation. But if discontinued operation does not include disposal group, then no measurement, only presentation and disclosure. Now, let me discuss why it is important to disclose the result of discontinued operation separately. Friends, for example, the company has three major product line, A, B, and C. The company has sold A and B for full year and earned a revenue of 1500 crores. The company has discontinued operation C, product line C, on 31st December during the year. Means the company has only continued for 9 months. C, and for 9 months the company has earned 500 crores. The total revenue of the company is 2000 crores. Now, I am giving you two options. You need to tell me what is the right option to present. Option number 1. The company will disclose revenue from operation 2000 crores. Simple. Option number 2. The company will disclose, present in the P&L, revenue from operation, from continuing operation 1500 crore, from discontinuing operation 500 crore. Tell me what is the right way to present in this scenario. Option 1 or option 2?
Option 2, sir.
Why?
The users can understand how the company earned revenue from different operations clearly.
You are absolutely right, for transparent reporting, so that the user will be able to understand, and this option provide a clear and fair picture to the users. What picture? When user will look at this option number 2 presentation, they understood that, oh, the company has discontinued some operation due to which. So the company has discontinued some operation, and from that operation, the company has earned 500 crores during the year. It means from the next year, the company can earn only the revenue to the extent of 1500, not 2000, because this 500 is not a sustainable revenue, right? Because the company has already discontinued one of them segment or a product line. Okay, so this is how the user will predict the future of the company. They will get a clear picture. But if option 1 would be the presentation, and if the entity has discontinued major product line, geographical area of operation, it will give a picture. It will not give a correct picture to them. They will think, oh, revenue from operation is 2000 crore. It means the entity is growing. It means the entity from the next year, the entity will earn 2000 crore at a minimum, right? So that is why it is important to disclose the performance of the continuing and discontinuing operations separately. Now, this was only for revenue. What about the entire P&L? If you will discontinue your operation, your revenue will go, but your cost will also go to some extent. Na? So standard says that for P&L, you have two options. For each and every line item, you can disclose each and every line item from continuing and discontinuing operation. That is number 1. Number 2, what you can do? You can present a normal P&L for continuing operation. Revenue, other income, expenses, profit before tax, tax, profit after tax, normal P&L. For then, after profit after tax, then what you can do? You can just insert a separate line item, discontinued operations, and where you can only show PBT, tax and PAT, and the entire P&L you can provide in the notes to accounts. So tell me, what will be the better presentation? 1 or 2?
Option 2.
Normally, all the listed companies are preferring option 2. Reason being, let me tell you, this option will give you clear-cut, fair picture about profit after tax, profit before tax. But here, you need to compute. You need to deduct all the expenses and everything from the revenue. Then you find the PBT, etc., etc. So, and it is very clumsy also. So, all the listed companies are following option number 2. They give the entire, they write on the face of the P&L, they write continued operation. And then they write what is my revenue, what is my cost, what is my profit, and then they give a caption discontinued operation, and there they write what is my PBT, tax and PAT from the discontinued operation, and how to arrive at a PBT and PAT. So the entire P&L they will provide in the notes to accounts with a referencing to the note. And friends, when there is a discontinued operation, the earning per share in the statement of P&L has to be shown as below. Normally, you are only showing the earning per share, basic and diluted from the normal P&L. But when there is a discontinued operation, you have to present basic and diluted earning per share from continuing operation, discontinued operation, and total operations. Right? This is how you need to present. I hope the revision of discounted operation you guys have understood very well. Yes or no? Please tell me. Have you understood? Not understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
And this is the revision. And when you go to the full class, probably you will find a lot of stuff there. But yes, even if this in this revisionary class, I have covered everything. Now, let me discuss this situation, whether it is a discounted operation or not. Identify whether each of the following scenario gives rise to a discounted operation and or classification as held for sale. Okay. So friends, first of all, MNO disposes of a component of the entity by selling the underlying asset. The sale transaction is incomplete at the reporting date. The sale transaction has not been completed and they are disposing it. Okay, they are selling it. So tell me whether it is a discontinued operation or not, whether it is a disposal group held for sale or not.
Yes, sir. Both, yes, sir.
Yes, it is a discontinued operation, and since it is held for sale also, it is also disposal group held for sale. PQR has seized activities that meet the definition of a discontinued operation without selling any asset. They are discontinuing operation, but they are not selling the asset. Tell me whether it is a discontinued operation or not, whether it is a disposal group held for sale or not. Of course, it is not a disposal group, but question itself is saying that it is a discontinued operation. STU ceases activities and has already completed the sale of underlying assets at the reporting date.
No.
Tell me, friends. So even in the word is discontinued operations. They have ceased activities, means they have discontinued operation. But will it come under disposal group held for sale also on the balance sheet date?
No, sir. It's already sold.
It's already sold. Very good. It's already sold. Last, VWX will sell or has sold assets that are within the scope of Ind AS 105 but does not discontinue any of its operations.
No, yes.
Yes, no,
Yes,
and
yes.
it is not a discontinued operation, but it is held for sale. It's there. So friends, we have done the revision in detail. We have done the revision, right? We have also covered the complex questions from the Word file. We have also covered the few questions from the Excel file and the presentation, right? We touch upon on the critical scenarios under examination, what could be the intent of the question and how to address those questions. Okay, so we understood it about it, and we have also done the revision of the revision within the duration of the class only, right? So friends, now I'm handing over to Shilpa ji, and so if you have any question before that, if you have any question, I would love to take that question, right? If you want me to recap any concept, I will do that in the next 2-3 minutes, and after that I'll hand over to the Shilpa ji. Yeah, please. No any question? So let me ask you a question then. Yes, let's quickly discuss the MCQs. An entity can continue to depreciate an asset even if it classifies it as a non-current asset held for sale. Right or wrong?
False.
False.
It is false. The depreciation has to be stopped right away. Asset classified as held for sale must be presented under the appropriate asset head with a separate disclosure in the notes to accounts.
True.
True.
False. So for
False,
example,
sir.
if PP is held for sale, will you show the PP held for sale under PP? With a
No, sir.
disclosure in the notes to account, answer is no.
No.
PP is a non-current asset, but a held for sale PP is a current asset. So you can't show it, right? So it is false. Okay. Under Ind AS 105, an entity is committed to distribute the asset or disposal group to the owners. The asset must be ISPCHP. You remember Internet Service Provider Company and Hindustan Petroleum? Available for immediate sale in present condition, and sale is highly probable. Which is the right answer?
Option A.
Saminathan, what is the right answer? ISPCHP.
Immediate sale in the present condition and highly probable.
So
Yeah.
virtually certain no, reasonably certain no, virtually certain no. A is the right answer.
Correct, sir.
How to measure a non-current asset or disposal group that ceases to be classified as held for sale? You remember the scenario? Earlier it was in DAS 16, then moved to 105, then again moved to 16. Yes? Change in plan of sale. You remember computed carrying amount and recoverable amount, whichever is lower. What is the right answer, Sachi? What is the right answer? Lower of carrying amount, which would have been had the
Option
asset
A.
not been
A.
classified as held for sale and
Sir,
recoverable.
A will be the right answer.
Second, lower of carrying amount on the date asset ceased to be classified as held for sale and recoverable. Carrying amount on the date asset ceased to be, no, not the existing carrying amount. Lower of carrying amount and fair value, no. Lower of carrying amount and the amount it would have been. So recoverable amount तो है ही नहीं इसमें. So by default, A will be the right answer. Okay. Yes. And this is your favorite slide. Thank you so much. And now I am handing over to Shilpa ji. Right.
Hello, everyone. Hello, students. Hope you found this class to be very fruitful and beneficial for your revision purpose. And students, since I am from Board of Studies, I would like to understand, in case you have any observation, feedback, or you want any query, just let us know. We can discuss that and accordingly we'll take your matter. So just be open to me. Saminathan, you were already there in the previous class, so you know, in case you have any observation, you want to share something, any difficulty you have, even that also, any negative observation, if you have your feedback, that also you can share with me. Yeah, tell me. Sachi, anything you want to share? Koru Konda? Lavanya?
Ma'am,
Anji,
I
For
just
me,
wanted
these
that
classes are very
one by one, please. Let me put the name. Sachi, you tell me.
ma'am, in one or two classes, like we can, if we can, it will be good. Like we can get the PPT notes for this AS.
See, this is revisionary classes, so mostly I believe faculty are discussing the questions along with the concepts. For PPTs, now what I'll suggest you that we have already conducted LVC, live virtual classes, for your May 2026 examination. If you go there na, in your LVC wala portal, there you'll find, when you log in on BOS Knowledge portal, you click to LVC of May 2026. In assignments for final, you will find the notes and PPTs for all the relevant Indias. For this LVRC session, whatever sir is taking the classes, sir is taking the questions that we have already uploaded on the website of on the BOS Knowledge Portal for LVRC. Okay. If in case Sachi you're not able to find those assignments or PPTs for relevant Indias, just mail me at Shilpa, SHILPA, Shilpa @ICAI.in. All in small letter, my first name. You can mail me. In case you're not able to find the PPTs, I'll send you personally.
Sure, thank you, ma'am. And just note your email ID.
Shilpa, SHILPA @ICAI.in. Any other person, Lavanya, Saminathan, in case you have any query, just mail me. like regarding assignments and all, in case you're not getting it. Na? Any other observation, Sachi? Or feedback? Any more classes on any particular topic you want me to schedule the classes? Just tell me.
Ma'am, it is shilpa dot at ICAI.org, right?
ICI.in. IN, not ORG. SHILPA, first name Shilpa @ICAI.in.
Okay, just
Okay.
corrected. Thank you.
Okay. And any other query you have, any other observation or any other request you want to make from Board of Studies regarding this financial reporting paper, just let me know. You are in the WhatsApp group?
No, ma'am, I don't. I'm not.
Okay. Ashok ji, chat box में please send that WhatsApp link. We have WhatsApp group also for final paper. You just get added in that, and in case you have any query or any observation regarding this LVC or something, you just post there. Ajit is the admin and he'll help us. He'll communicate to us what all are your requests, and we'll accordingly try to cater it.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Uh, I hope Ashok ji, have you sent that link? हाँ हाँ प्लीज आप एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप का लिंक ऐड कर दीजिएगा. ओके. नहीं तो कौन धर्मेंद्र या अजीत होंगे, वो कर दें ऐड ना. अदरवाइज ना सची व्हाट आई विल डू इज दैट यू जस्ट पुट मी अ मेल. ओके. And in next class, I'll tell you. In case they are not able to send it right now on the chat box, the link will ask them to do it. Now you just put me a mail over it. Na?
I'll drop a
And
mail to you.
okay. And Lavanya, do you have any observation?
Ma'am, for me, as far as these classes are very useful, ma'am, for the
Okay.
revision purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, ma'am, the faculty are also clearing doubts if we have any during the session.
So you're finding it useful?
Yes, ma'am.
And any other observation, any other request you want to make regarding this financial reporting paper? Not only for LBC or LVRC, for any other purpose, for your suggested, for your RTP, any observation or anything which you feel that this should also be provided to you, just let us know.
Ma'am, Saransh is not available on the portal for FR.
FR Saransh, actually, we are working on it because of certain amendments, but Saransh is available. Just wait a minute. I'll try to share my screen to you, and then we'll have it. See, I believe my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just opening. See, Saransh, I'm going to students. Just a minute. Oh, I'm not able to open it. Okay. See, if we come here now, just go through this. Where there is a tab for Saransh. Instead of going to final, go to this other Saransh booklet. Okay. There you will find Saransh on Indian Accounting Standard. 4th bullet. Are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
This you will click, you will find Saransh for all Indias. However, there are certain amendments in India is 1, India is 21, your India is 7. We are working on this. We'll revise it and we are redesigning the Saransh so that when that is completely done, at that point, you'll find it in this tab. Final. Okay. Right now, you just study from this other Saransh booklet wala tab. Go there and then find the Saransh for Indias. Okay. In
Okay,
fact,
ma'am.
it was the first Saransh which we started with. We started with Indian Accounting Standard Saransh only, and then we came up with other subjects at final level and at intermediate level. But it requires revision, and we are working on it. And we'll try to give it very shortly.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
This
Any other?
class was very good and informative.
Hmm.
But while doing the revision, I think within 1 or 2 days I'll just get to know अभी क्या क्या we need means I need some help because I am doing it after a long time, so I just needed some help. I'll get back to you.
No issues, no issues. You are there. I have provided you my email ID also, and in case the WhatsApp group link is also there in the chat box, Sachi, you can join through that WhatsApp group link, which is there in the chat box. Are you able to see, Sachi?
Yes ma'am, I just saw.
You just joined to that. See, I have given you my mail ID. I have given my mail ID to everyone. Shushovan has just now joined. Shilpa at ICAI.in is my email ID. In case you have any query or any doubt which is not resolved during this class, these classes, revisionary classes, or relating to assignments with respect to financial reporting. See, I look after financial reporting, so I'll be able to resolve the queries related to financial reporting only. However, in case you have any query with respect to any other subject, you just let me know. We can forward it to the concerned faculty. Okay. Otherwise, this is the group also which we are asking you to join. And through this WhatsApp group, you can post your query there with respect to any subject of final paper, and that will be answered. Okay, shortly. And any other feedback for these LVC and LVRC classes which you all are just viewing it, I request everyone to please fill the feedback form also. That help us to understand exactly what, because we are not going to share this feedback form name wise to our faculty. We just see and we try to understand what is your expectation, where we are able to meet out and where we are not able to meet out, and what we have to do it further. So these feedback forms are very important and necessary for us to understand your requirements. So please do fill that feedback form. Okay.
Sure,
Hope I
ma'am.
am clear. Okay. Lavanya, I was talking to you. Any other query which you have or any other observation? Like you talked about Saransh. Anything else?
No, ma'am. Everything is fine, ma'am.
Acha, see,
Ma'am, one thing.
हाँ, हाँ, tell me.
This is not related to FR. I just want to ask about the SPOM exam, ma'am.
हाँ, tell me. In case
Yes, ma'am.
I'll able to answer, I'll do it. Otherwise, we'll transfer the query to the concerned person. I'll tell you the way out.
Yes, yes, ma'am. The SPOM exams, ma'am. After completing the required hours, can we write it from home, ma'am, or do we need to go to the
No,
center?
since it is an online examination, you have to go to particular center on particular date. It is how will you do it at your home? Na? That facility has not been provided. It has to be monitored, proctored, na, to check. That is an kind of assessment. So you have to go through particular center only. Mm,
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Uh, any other query?
One more. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
related to FR. Ma'am, for paper number 6, if I say, because I had not attended the classes and I'm not getting any good module, means if I'm going to other CA institute, तो paper 6 का कुछ मुझे मिलता नहीं. I never get
Case
anything.
study digest है बेटा. Those there are 2 volumes of case study digest which is there uploaded on the website.
On
They can
website ना I'll see because मैंने परचेज करने के लिए देखा तो आउट ऑफ स्टॉक हो जाता है, तो मुझे कुछ भी and how to prepare means I had seen if I go on videos or YouTube तो I never find anything
see,
so
we
much.
have every Friday we have LVC session on dedicated session on integrated business solution. Every
Ma'am,
Friday from I
timing I
believe
am not aware
6:30.
क्या.
And I'm telling you, you can start with that. Otherwise, one more mail ID I'm sharing with you. You can put your query regarding IBS and they will forward it to the concerned person. It is bos@icai.in. Okay, Board of Studies, BOS, abbreviation bos@icai.in. Just put the subject query related to IBS and they will forward it to the concerned faculty. You are joining through WhatsApp group also. You can there also you can put your mail or the query with respect to this general query also, that you how to study and how to prepare for this paper, and they'll try to forward to the concerned person and he'll reply. Otherwise, I am also telling you, dedicated session on IBS is there on every Friday evening. I believe it is from 6:30 onwards.
I'll check the schedule means I don't remember that I had seen, because if I had seen I would join. I'll just
Check
see.
it down. Otherwise, there is an open house session also every Friday for this particular paper from 4 to 5. That also we provide. There you can have a direct interaction with the faculty of that respective paper. You can talk to them also. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Otherwise, if you go through this advisory, there you'll find the contact details of the faculty also. Over their landline numbers have been provided for each and every subject faculty. From there also you can talk to them. Okay, number is 0120 3045 937. Are you able to note it, or should I repeat it?
Ma'am, please, can you please repeat once more? 0120.
Yeah, 0120 is the STD code. Then 3045937. Okay, Deepak, see Deepak Gupta, he looks after, take care of this paper, and he'll help you out. Okay. He'll also guide, maybe he had already provided sessions on how to prepare for this paper. He'll give you the link also of those videos.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for the support.
Okay. Any Shushovan Gurai you have joined later, in case you are for this FR paper, you have any observation? Any other paper, Saminathan, you have something to tell us or ask?
No, ma'am, it's very clear, ma'am. The thing is that thanks to BOS and all the faculties, this is a wonderful session actually. I think I need to practice a lot. That concept is clarity is very clear now. I have done LVC and RVC, that LVRC also. Now the time to practice the lot of questions, it is
Yes.
available in the study material and the practicing questions and
Yeah,
MTP, RTP.
Saminathan, you do one thing. See, since you have all gone through LVC also, now you're going through LVRC, what I'll suggest you, just take out your previous suggested answer questions. Na? Not even from this May 24 onwards, because your syllabus for India's FR paper was similar from 2017 onwards. So you can go through the suggested answers of previous scheme also for FR paper, specifically for FR paper, with just see the topics like CSR is no more forming part of your syllabus. So just skip those questions. Otherwise, you can study all India set. You'll get a good, fair idea of what kind of questions are asked. So that will help you in practicing for your this May 26 examination. Everybody, and this guidance is for everyone. Once you have completed your entire study of 2 round, I believe 2 round of study if you are appearing for the first time, and with revision, then go through the suggested answers of previous examinations. That will really help you in understanding what kind of questions are asked from what particular topic. Like in consolidation, you'll always find you have to prepare the entire balance sheet CFS. With respect to certain adjustments, you'll find a similar kind of adjustments appear, more or less similar kind of adjustments appear, like for dividend, for bonus, or for revaluation, mutual adjustments, your owings. So there are similar kind of adjustments which you'll find regarding your consolidation or for business combination. That will help you in practice. And it gives confidence also that if you are able to do those suggested answers within 3 hours, it means without just referring to the solution. So you'll get the confidence that if you are able to complete that previous question paper, then you'll be able to do the coming one also. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Any Lavanya, I just want to talk to Shushovan also. Shushovan, you are for FR, any query or any observation, any feedback, and please, everybody, please fill the feedback form. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
From where
Please.
we'll get that form?
What?
That feedback form.
Feedback form is this when you log in in this BOS knowledge portal, where you'll get the assignments for LVC, LVRC. There you'll also find feedback for LVRC, feedback for LVC, feedback for LVRC. There's a tab for that. Do you want
Okay.
me to show you?
No, ma'am, I'll just
Just
see
check.
it.
There's a separate tab for feedback form. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And if possible, do it after every session. Every session of FR, you just fill the feedback form session wise. And if not possible, since you have not filled earlier, as you are asking where it is, so I believe you have not filled it earlier. So for previous sessions, you can fill one feedback form, but from here onwards, for every session, if you provide individual feedback for every faculty, believe it is not going to be shared with your name. It is only for our understanding what we are expected and what we have, what we are catering. Okay. So any other query? Otherwise, we can wind up the session. And there are certain chats. Just let me see. Okay, one was for WhatsApp group link. Okay, Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Ashurji,
you,
we
ma'am.
get
Thanks a
Welcome.
lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. Bye. Ashok, thank you.